Welcome, everyone, to our latest episode of the Testing Room, where three of the gaming industry's best video game consultants who have never actually consulted on a video game bring you new topics each and every week. I'm Alex, and I'm just happy I remembered how to do that intro.
Yeah.
I'm Christian, aka Pseudo45.
I am Preston, aka Funkadelic Jedi.
Yeah, we were just saying, it seems like it's been forever since we've actually recorded. Even though our episodes have been consistent, our recording schedule has not been.
And it's a Sunday morning. It's bright. You can actually see my posters. It's
I
crazy.
know. That's how you
Christian
can
looks
tell.
like he's recording from heaven right
Dude,
now.
I was about to say, this is how you
White
can
screen.
tell that I live in a fucking fishbowl where my whole place is nothing but windows, because it's literally just white space behind me. Actually, it does look, you know what? It looks like Bruce Almighty, that Jim Carrey movie, but when him and Morgan Freeman are talking, and it's literally just like white box that they're in. Yeah, that's what this looks like.
Hey everybody, Christian here, coming to you from the ethereal plane. So anyway,
Yeah.
nice. Well, we have a lot to talk about, kind of, I guess. Our weeks might be kind of big, so I actually played games. Christian continues to play a lot of games. Preston is almost over. Preston is almost over Snap, apparently. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Talk about it.
But before we get to that, let's go to our comment corner.
Yes. So we did get a comment from previous guest host, Mr. Travis. Did it on the YouTubes. Thank you for commenting on the YouTubes. We love to get those comments. Help us get out there. The release of the newest Assassin's Creed game got him thinking. He knows Alex loves those games and seems to buy them no matter what. I had a two-part question. What games do you find that you always buy sight unseen? Out of all the games you've bought sight unseen, which has been the biggest disappointment and why?
I have a really easy answer for this, so I just want to go really fast because I don't.
Are you going to say nothing?
No. Because that's why my answer is quick, is because I don't normally do this, because I will pass on something even if I was really excited about it. Like Cyberpunk was a great example. Like when I started seeing footage coming out, I was trying to warn you guys, and you're like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna buy it anyway." And then you guys were both like, "This is fucking unplayable. I can't do it."
Yeah, except for now, and it's like an incredible game. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole that should be a side quest discussion. Is like how we deal with games that get fixed 4 years later. But but I did think of one. Is that so far the only games that I buy sight unseen are Diablo games, and it's disappointing every time after two. So hey. Learn from me. Don't do it.
Two and one.
Yeah.
Sight unseen and disappointed by your purchase.
Yeah. Bam, bam. Done.
So I think his question kind of came up from he and I talking. So we were doing something, like we were together because we work together as well. We were out and about doing something, and the topic of Assassin's Creed was like, oh, Assassin's Creed comes out tomorrow, and somebody's like, I think it's out today or whatever, and I had completely forgot. Like, I knew it came out this year, but things are being stealth dropped on me because of how busy I have been and how packed this year has been. Like, I just saw yesterday that Spider-Man is only 10 days away, and I was like, holy crap, like, I can't believe it's only 10 days away, right? Like, to me, it seems like months off.
Lords of the Fallen just dropped yesterday.
Yeah, so, like...
Yeah.
Apparently it's garbage.
So I forgot that was coming out.
Honestly, who knows?
And then I was laying in bed, and we were talking. He's like, I don't know about Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm thinking about getting it. And I was like, I've already purchased it. And he's like, when? I was like, oh, when I got home. I just bought it. Like, again, sight unseen. I've seen no reviews on Mirage, nothing. In fact, I just went ahead, just because it had a Sands of Time theme, I went ahead and bought the collector's edition.
Yeah.
The digital collectors, which comes with like the music that I'll never listen to and the book that I'll never review. But I get to run around with like now the Dagger of the Sands and like a Sands of Time sword, and I look like the Sands of Time. Legitimately Assassin's Creed sight unseen. Every time.
The fact that Ubisoft, this is my personal thing, is because it's very well documented that Assassin's Creed is what killed Prince of Persia.
It is.
And so it already makes me mad just by that, because I liked Prince of Persia. But for them, that's my opinion. This is my opinion. It is very easy to tell when a game is about to be disappointing when they include pre-order items from other franchises that are either dead or
it's not dead. There's a new Prince of Persia
Just
game
came out, yeah.
or that haven't seen a lot of love in a long time. Let me finish speaking. But it's either one of those two things, and as soon as they do that, you know it's like, oh, this is going to be trash because you want me to buy this solely because I'm like, oh man, I like Prince of Persia, and you go and buy it, and you're like, oh great, I own a bunch of Prince of Persia items in a game I fucking hate. But
so first of all, I will just actually not first of all, just in general, Christian, you do not like those games. However, their last few games, now that they've just said like F the history, let's go into the fantasy aspect of it, have been good and have been well received for the most part. I mean, the problem in the last couple hasn't been quality, it's just been bloat. But from everything I've understood about this one is that's all been cut way down. So they've been good. I'll talk about this game in my week.
And it seems super rushed on this one, but yeah.
No, does it?
They took like a year off and everything.
Yeah, rushed isn't, but but they still cut all that stuff, and it still seems like it's not hitting right with people. But that's.
I mean, the first 20 minutes, I will say, the animations can be rough, but after that, it's been fantastic. I don't know what happens.
Just the first 20 minutes.
But after the first 20 minutes, when you get out of the starting area,
so right,
there's always the starting thing. But once you get out of the starting area and the world opens up,
I love that you're treating fucking video games like an '86 IROC Z Camaro, where you're like, no, once you get the old girl warmed up and the backfires come off, it's smooth ride, brother.
I'll talk about it in my week. One of the games that I've played.
All right, so sight unseen, I usually buy Star Wars games, no matter what. Now, phone games aside, I don't do Star Wars phone games. That's one deep dark rabbit hole Preston doesn't need to go into. But I mean, I'm not doing it. But there's been a lot of Star Wars games you get. I mean, they come out. Luckily for me, recently they've been all right. But there's plenty of times where they have not been so hot.
I feel like GameFly helps alleviate this issue for you.
Does.
Because anytime that you even feel like a twinge of, do I want to buy this? You're just like, easy, I'll GameFly it.
Yeah, and then if I want to buy it, then it just costs me like Armored Core did, and it cost me $40.
Yeah. So, I feel like that totally. Yeah, I feel like that totally solves this issue for you.
It does. It helps out a lot. But sometimes you get some games that are digital only that you might not be able to get through GameFly. But I would say the last one I was disappointed in as far as Star Wars was probably. I don't know. I kind of liked Battlefront 2, but I guess that was probably the most disappointing of all the Star Wars games recently.
You're one of the only people that I know that broke the boycott on that game. You bought it even though everybody was like, do not fucking buy this game. Make them suffer. And you were like, oh, I'm going to play it.
Pretty fun game, actually. I'm just going to go play it. Yeah, I did. And then I got my Billy D. Williams, Young Lando, excuse me, skin for that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I guess I didn't answer to your guys' point. I didn't answer what the disappointment was.
Yeah, which is Assassin's Creed.
I love Assassin's Creed's fine. Because I have like Stockholm syndrome to those games, so it's.
Sure.
We've joked about me spending the money on this game months ago. Like we knew it was going to happen.
I mean,
right?
Yeah,
That's nothing new. The one that I actually remember, like Diablo, I was disappointed in, but I bought that to play with friends, so that wouldn't have been me. The Grand Theft Auto collection, remember? Yes. I bought that Grand Theft Auto collection, and that was so bad. I tried to get a refund. They were like, "Nah, Sony, we don't do refunds." So
unless it's Cyberpunk, but yeah,
unless it's Cyberpunk, but otherwise, yes, yeah. Well, that was the last one I was super disappointed in. Sight unseen.
Yeah, I guess Blizzard games too for me. Yeah, because that would be Diablo. Because I usually buy a Blizzard game once it comes out, except for the World of Warcraft stuff. But yeah, definitely disappointment. Diablo.
Well, I mean, what else? Did you buy?
I liked Diablo 3 when it came out, though.
No, but what was the other Overwatch? Did you buy Overwatch?
Yeah. I loved Overwatch. When it came out? Yeah. I played that a lot. I loved that game.
Oh, all right. Okay, good for you.
It made me happy. But it made me happy.
We all have poor taste. It's fine.
Fair enough. All right. Cool. That was a good question. When Travis asked me, I was like, yeah, give that to Preston because like we all know my answer is Assassin's Creed on that one. I don't buy too much else sight unseen, but
yeah. Anytime you got any of those questions, feel free to toss them in the Instagram posts, toss them on the YouTube posts. I will grab them. I will hold on to them. I'll cherish them, and we'll save them for the episode.
Yerp.
Cool. All right. Well, who wants to start off with our weeks?
I can go.
Okay.
I played a bunch of small games, so it'll go kind of quick.
Next festing it up.
I don't know. I didn't actually get into the Next Fest this year, but that's mostly because it came at a time in which I have a very expensive tattoo coming up, so I'm not buying anything. But so I don't know. I think I was still. The last time we recorded, I was in Dallas, right?
Yes.
Like this show was in Dallas, right? So okay, so I didn't finish it then. So
we didn't even talk about your flight saga.
Oh yeah, well we don't have to do all that. We
talked about a good chunk of it, last time.
Yeah, but the long and short of it is that my flight got delayed 4 times and gate changed 10 times, and I was supposed to be home at like 11:45, and I didn't get home until 3:30 in the fucking morning. It was a blast. I hate DFW. And the best part is that conference is changing locations next year, so I don't ever have to go again. So
where's it going to be next
thank
year?
Thank you, JC, who's behind me somewhere.
Do you know where it's going to be next year, or did they just say, hey, it's not here?
Colorado somewhere. Yeah, so it'll be nice and cold, which I like.
Stuck in a snowstorm in October.
I'm down. I like it. That's no different than fucking living here. So I finished Paradise Killer.
Nice.
So it was a very good game. The coolest thing about, like I said, I was sort of iffy on. I didn't know how it was going to land because I'm not typically into these Danganronpa style games. So I won't give a full spoiler on the ending because some of the mechanical twists, like if anything I've said about the game so far has interested you at all, you should totally just go check it out because it ends like the ending of this game is so good that it makes me a lot easier with some of the gripes, like the navigation gripes that I had and stuff in the earlier part of the game. But so what it does is it basically turns into a more violent Phoenix Wright game. Like when you go and put like you're basically submitting all the evidence that you've gathered over the whole game, and you'll never know if you've gotten all the evidence or not. You either just found what you found or you did. You don't know. And so you go and just present your argument. And I looked through, there's multiple quote unquote endings for the game because if you argue your case well enough, you can pin a crime on somebody else, which I thought was really neat. Like if you were just like, I don't think that you actually did this, but I have enough circumstantial evidence that would lead somebody to believe that you did do it, and I don't like you as a character, so I can pin it on you, kind of thing, which was really fun, but super neat. Like, and again, I'm not going to go into further about the mechanics of that part, but it was super cool. Like, I totally was into it. The next thing that I played was. So I talked about this 2 Steam Next Fest ago, but it was a game that I pre-ordered because they had like a thing where if you played it during Next Fest, it was like $5 or something. It was super cheap. But this was that text adventure game that I was telling you guys about that was like a modern day twist on like Zork, where like it's like a text adventure that deals with like existential dread, and I was like, oh, dude, I totally admit. Like, I played the demo, and I was like, I'm totally in. So it released, so then it, like, immediately got added to my my Steam library. So I was like, done, totally going to check this out. And a playthrough of that game is just like under 2 hours. Like it's like about an hour 45. And once you really know what you're doing, you can rip through it in about probably like an hour 10, maybe an hour flat. So it's super, super short. But I've got two of the four endings so far. It's one of those games where I kind of can't say any more about it story-wise because it's a spoiler. It's like, remember when I was trying to talk about Inscription last year, and I was like, I had to wait till Game of the Year basically to spoil the giant twists in that game because if you tell somebody it's basically fucking 4 different games that they switch on you without telling you, like that would ruin the whole surprise, right? So story-wise, this is a similar kind of situation where anything I say would just ruin the bit. But it's really, really cool. The only hard part about it right now is it's like I think the people who own this game right now is like maybe 20 people total, like on all of Steam. And so it's been neat in that regard of like when I'm trying to figure out how, like, what are the conditions to get the other endings unlocked. And there's like it's like me and like 6 other people also trying to figure it out all at the same time. And so I ended up, what was funny is I posted for my first time ever, I posted on the Steam discussion forums and I was like, yo, like, any non-spoiler hints? Like, does anybody have any, like, what, I'm like running out of ideas of what I can say and do these things. And the developer responded and was like, hey, you should try, like, maybe do da 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 da. And so I was like, damn, that's how I know this is like a niche fucking game. But I can't recommend it enough. It's super cheap. It's really, really short. So if that idea even has like you peaked at all, you will not be disappointed. It was a really fucking cool game. My only sort of nitpick with it is that because, and this is like both a positive and a negative, the text adventure portion is extremely deep, and like the things that you can say to or things that you can input in that text box, and like at first it seems like limitless. Like you're like, oh my god, this thing is responding to like every idea that I could have. And then you'll notice like as it goes on, there's a couple times where you will start poking at where the walls are at, right? Like you might get like a, hey, that doesn't exist, or I don't know what you're saying, or like try again, blah blah blah. And in those moments it becomes disappointing because you're like, oh man, but then it's also like a pot because you're like, I would have not even thought to try this in other games, so the fact that I even thought that would work is like a sort of like a testament to how well you did, but also it's like I wish I could keep going, right? But I don't even know if I said the name. The game is called I Doesn't Exist. So like bracket I bracket doesn't exist, and then it's like dash a modern text adventure. I think is the full title. But yeah, super ambitious. I really respect what it was going for, and all in all, I think it probably, especially towards I think it really nails it, especially from a story perspective. There's just that one little thing of like, I just wish that there was a couple times that I would able to like keep going. And in fairness, it seems like they'll probably get there eventually because they have you at the end. They have you send data on your inputs if you want to. You don't have to, but they will basically search through your inputs for things that it couldn't recognize, and then update the IDE like on the back end to be like, yeah. So the more people that play it, obviously, the more it will improve along the line. But it was still fucking cool. Okay, so the next thing I played and beat was a game that's been on my backlog, but my shame pile of like, I've heard always that this is like one of the best of all time. I never got to it. I should get to it at some point, but I just keep kicking the can down the road. Finally got to it. I played Cave Story Plus for the first time. I have heard people talk about this game in reverence as far as like 2D platformers for fucking ever. And they were telling the truth. This game is a banger. I get it. Like, I totally understand. You can go through like multiple different playthroughs for like different endings and stuff. And there's like little secret endings and stuff. But in general, a regular playthrough will take you about 6 to 8 hours. Preston, I think you would actually really dig this game. I don't know if you played it before, but you would really dig it. Alex, the graphics will make your snobbiness come out, and you won't like it.
I feel like that's not true. It's it's pixel art, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you'll be like, it's old, I don't like it.
No, that's not true. I played Shovel Knight and all those other pixel art sprite. You don't.
Yeah, how far did you get into Hollow Knight again?
Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
That wasn't due to the artwork though. No, the artwork doesn't bother me on that. No. It's more about timing.
Sure, yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah. I played what was the other one? The one where you're like the bird character and it was kind of like a Soulsy type isometric game.
Death's Door or something like that?
Death's Door, but that's not pixel art.
Yeah. It's very similar to this game.
It is not.
In my brain it is. I can't. I feel like
that should tell you everything you need to know.
I would have to go back and look at it because in my brain it's kind of like, this is fine.
Yeah.
This is Mega Man.
Preston can put up 2 screenshots, right, and be like, these do not look the same at all.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture. This is like Mega Man and everything else. I've played all of those games.
You've not played all Mega Man games. Stop it.
No, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about like the artwork and stuff. Like
he's
I
played
played Mega Man
and
all that. Like that. The
and
artwork
you're like, whatever. I picked it up for an hour. And you're like, yeah, this is fine. I don't know. The artwork sucks, and then you put it down.
God, you don't spin narratives. You know that's not true.
No, but it's very, very good. I won't dig too much into it because everybody has already played this fucking game because it's like one of the most popular ones ever. But just that everything about it is everything you've heard about it is true and more. Like it's so.
How
good.
long is it?
6 to 8 hours.
Not bad.
Okay. No, yeah, it's quick, and you'll go through and the one thing that I will say is it does the exact thing that you want from a platformer of like when you think you have an idea and you're like, I wonder if this would work. And then it does and you're like, God, they thought it. Like, thank God they thought of this. This is great. Which is, so mechanically the neat thing it does is you do not gain like levels. There's like a level meter and you'll see it, but you don't gain levels in the way that you would assume. So you get energy tanks like you would in like a Metroid or Mega Man or whatever, right, to increase your health. But then these enemies will drop like little like experience, like little triangles basically, and you run over and pick them up, and it levels up your weapon that you have. And then, but it's specific to that weapon. And when you get hit, you take damage to your health, but you also take damage to your weapon, and so your weapon can get knocked down a level or a chunk if you depending on like what little bonuses and stuff you have. And so, but the neat thing with that is that it makes it so that you're obviously you're trying to be more methodical about like where you're placing shots and doing things, right? But then also sometimes like you just get hit, but because you end up, as you get to some of the later bosses that can really do some damage, you end up getting like 6 weapons. And so as soon as you get hit and you're like, oh, this weapon got knocked down to level 2, you're like, fuck it, and you switch right to a new one, and then you're back at full power and you just keep going. But then that weapon, because they all play differently, ends up changing your play style. And so you'll end up doing different things. Like it's really cool to watch it just unfold normally. But super satisfying. Story is great. Yeah, I loved it. It was, and the art is like, especially the character portrait arts, like when you're talking and stuff, is fantastic. But the main thing is the music. The music is like, and people have praised the soundtrack forever, so I won't go too far into it. But it is exactly as good as people say. The people who did this knocked it out of the fucking park. Okay, the next thing I played, I only dabbled in for about an hour, and then I stopped. Now, this is not, before I say the name of the game, this is not a value statement on the game. This is something with my brain specifically, and I'm
So you
going
mean
to...
stop, like you didn't just pause on it, like you're not playing this game.
I uninstalled the game, yes.
Doesn't happen often.
It does not happen often. Again, everything about this game seems really cool, and people should go check it out because it seems like it is hitting on all the things that it promised it would hit on. There is just a mechanical thing that does not hit my brain correctly, and it wasn't good for me. And so I was like, I know I'm not going to enjoy using this mechanic. I need to stop. I tried Lies of P.
Oh, okay.
On Game Pass.
Interesting, because I have been told I should try it, but
you would love it, I'm sure. So,
okay.
Because it is hitting on everything, especially like with you liking Disney and all that other stuff, but then like the Bloodborne-esque like old Victorian stuff. Yeah, it can be. It can be as fast or as slow as you want it to be, depending on like the build that you pick, right?
Okay.
So like the super light build will feel like it'll be pretty close to Bloodborne. It feels a little off, but that's, I mean, you know, it's not From Software doing it. So
yeah.
Here's the mechanic though that I don't like, and this is, again, it's just a me personal thing. I'm gonna try it again on the PC to see if like maybe it was like a performance thing, just to be doubly sure, because I do think it is doing a lot of cool things. But I fucking hate the parry in this game. It does not feel good to me. Like,
Really?
I was watching a streamer and they were having a problem with the parry too.
So I can get the parry off. Like the timing I can get. Like it's not that, because
Is it the damage part?
No. So what it's literally just, and again, this feels really petty, and I don't. That's why I'm saying, like, do not take this as a thing of don't play this game. Like, you should absolutely go check it out for yourself. It's just the way my brain hits it. When I parry something in a video game, or when a video game has a parry, it needs to be like a really heavy chunk feeling. Like Metal Gear Rising, Preston, you've played Bayonetta, so you know Bayonetta. Like when you parry in that game, especially in Bayonetta, like when Witch Time activates and like everything slows down around you. Dude, it feels so good. Like you press the button, you dodge, and then all of a sudden everything slows around and you're just like styling on the enemy and doing these things. That's great. Not every game needs to have Witch Time. I'm just using that as an example. But like Sekiro is a great example of even a game like when a parry just has a good chunk to it. Like when you press that button, you know, like it just feels good to get the timing off, the animation, everything all works together and it feels good. Because the parry is such a integral piece of this game, they just sort of, it just like, it doesn't feel any different than blocking. The only reason that you know that you did something different is
don't lose stamina.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and there's like a little bit of an animation flourish change where instead of just you blocking, there's like a little red spark that comes off, and it's like, okay, you did the parry. To me, right, that's just not what I want out of a parry, and because I don't know why, I'm just very particular about it. Like, I need it to feel good. And as soon as it's like the example that I used is, and Preston, you'll know this because we played a similar amount of like platformers, but like when you pick up a platformer and you have a favorite one, right? Like if your favorite one's Mega Man, or if your favorite one's Mario, or your favorite one's, you know, what, like insert Sonic, whatever, right? If you pick up one of those games and then you press the jump button, and immediately the jump doesn't feel right, you go, ew, and you put the controller down, and you're like, I'm good. And that might not happen to everybody, but there's some people that when you are really zoned in on one of those games, right? Like if you pick up the jump button and it does not feel good. Like imagine Like, if Guacamelee didn't feel good to play, you would have never been able to do that fucking platinum. Like,
so there's a friend of ours. We talked about him, AOL account. He hates the Donkey Kong Country games. He thinks they're floaty as hell. I think they're perfectly fine games. And I love them, and I love the way it feels. But he's like, I hate the way it moves. I hate the way it moves. The way it jumps, floats. Is it too floaty? He's like, I don't like it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and exactly, right? Like, a game that everybody is, a game like
People
Donkey Kong
like.
Country that is universally revered, right? But there's some times when you pick up a platformer, if you press that jump button and it doesn't feel good, you're like, nope, I can't do it. I can't even get past this because I can't do it.
Yeah.
That is what's happening here. So it is not a value statement on the game at all. It definitely is me not saying, like, I'm not saying, like, "Ooh, disappointing, don't play it," whatever. Absolutely go play it. Check it out for yourself. It just, the second that I got all the way to the first boss. I'm sitting there and I'm doing the parries and everything. And when I was just like, nope. This is not good. I don't like this.
Oddly
I
enough,
literally would just be making myself play it to play it. Or,
yeah.
So I had two things. One, I had somebody who, like, I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, well, are you, like, is it just too hard for you to get the parry timing down? I'm like, no, you're misunderstanding me. Like, I'm getting the parry off, dick.
You play enough that you're a veteran of these games. It's totally fine.
Yes, like I know how to get the parry off. I'm just saying it just feels like shit to me. I need to be very specific. But then I've had also a situation where people are like, "Oh, well, just don't use the parry." And I'm like,
but how do you do the damage bonus and everything else?
You just don't. You just get around it. Apparently, you can just go around it. But I'm like, okay,
I'm not ignoring a whole chunk of the game just because.
Yeah, it's gonna take forever to just do, like, chip away at bosses.
Exactly, and there's attacks that you can't, like. So they have this thing like called, like, fury attacks that enemies get, where they glow red and they do, like, a big attack. And in the regular world, you can just avoid those by just, like, moving out of the way. But my assumption would be that in later bosses, there's, like, giant sweep attacks that happen that you can't get out of the way of, and you just either have to block or parry, right? So in that regard, it's like, no, then I can't avoid it. And I'm not just going to sit there and not use it up until those moments where I have to use it and then just, like, get over it. It's like, no, dude. Especially, and this is where I kind of end on, is I'm just like, in a day and age where there's too many games out, and there are so many games to play,
You walk away.
it's okay. And again, you, dear listener, or anybody who's checking this, like, might go play it and be like, I think this feels great, and I'm very happy for you, and I hope that it continues to be great for you.
I'll have my perspective on it soon. Oddly enough, I think because of all the other games coming out soon, a lot of them are going to be console games, like, Spider-Man's going to be a console game. I actually think this game is going to be my next Steam Deck game, because apparently it runs phenomenally on Steam Deck.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
So
I just downloaded it on Game Pass. I just played it on
Game
Game
Pass,
Yeah. But it'll probably be my next Steam Deck game, so I'll have my thoughts on it soon. But I do like the fact that, like you said, the Disney piece, the Victorian piece, I've seen a lot of that.
All of that is hitting exactly the way you
looks
want.
good.
Like the first 2 seconds of the game, it mentions Geppetto and all the other stuff. Like, it goes right. Like, they go right into it. I will say, and again, it could get better, it could get worse. I do not know. But so up until the first boss, like, there is definitely some. It feels like a lost in translation, some stuff. Or there's, like, and again, so this is a South Korean team that made this game, and so obviously English is not their first language. But there's definitely a couple of, like, voice quips or, like, little things that you're reading. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't even know. But
that's what happens when you're a small team with no localization,
right? Which
other
is,
than
again,
Google Translate.
It's totally fine. But and it's a Souls game, so who gives a shit? Like, you're not there. You're there to do rad shit with Pinocchio. I will say, the way that they handle durability and sort of weapon switching is really, really cool, and I do think that is a awesome thing. And it sucks because the durability thing is, you don't have to pay to, like, repair your weapons or anything, right? It's just a button that you press and you put it in, like, sort of.
Oh,
like
you have to.
You put it in your mechanical arm, and it sort of just sharpens the sword for you, and it, like, the vibration will get stronger the longer you leave it in there to bring the weapon back up to full strength.
But you also have to, like, do that in fights sometimes, right? So you're, like, having a plan.
The repair animation and feeling and mechanics of how it works is how I wish the parry would feel. That's how heavy it feels when you do it. Like, when you pull the trigger to do it, it is like it just feels really good to do it. And it's like super stylish because like sparks are shooting off as you're pulling the sword out and doing it. Like it's fucking rad. And that's where I'm getting at, right? Is that I'm like, God damn it! Like you should have just done this kind of thing for the parry, and I'd have been in here. Like, but again, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try the PC version just to like make doubly sure that it wasn't like a weird console thing. Like who knows, right? Like I don't want to. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'm going to load it up on the PC. I'm going to press the parry button a couple times, and if it still isn't jiving with me, then I'm just going to move on. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm at my final 2. So I've played 2 games that I'm actually sticking with now. One is I finally started in on the Mega Man Battle Network collection that I got like a few months ago. Game's great, so there's not. The game is like 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, I've never played them.
But they're great. It's Tactics Mega Man. That's all I need to say. It's fantastic. That's it. Go play them. The next game is one that Alex and I have had. Well, I don't know if you bought it when it came out, Alex. I did last year, but then we sort of just like shelved it and we waited.
Okay.
Or I don't know. But Solstice. So if you remember, this is Claymore Berserk style DMC game that was like AA and all this other stuff. But it looked dope. So I picked that up, and then it looked like it was a little rough, and I was like, whatever. I bought a DMC style game. And to be honest, I probably would have bought it anyway, especially when they're like, it's like Claymore and Berserk. And I'm like, you're just talking to me. And so I was like, I'll give it some time once the performance stuff gets ironed out, and then I'm going to go check it out, right? Well, fast forward to June of this year, there was a giant story that got put out of them basically doing a huge content drop for free. It was like, not only had they had already fixed all the performance stuff, but they were like, here's a bunch of cool shit that we've been working on that we wanted to get across but just didn't fit our original timeline. Here it is for free for everybody. Bam. It's a massive update. So I was like, well, that's awesome, and that just means that I need to check this out, as soon as I get a second. And as soon as I finish Cave Story, I'm sitting there and I sent it to you guys. Like my backlog actually has been whittled down like pretty good, right? So I was looking through and I'm like, I'm trying to decide between Cassette Beasts, which came out this year. I was like, or do I check out Solstice finally? I was like, man, especially after Lies of P wasn't, feeling so hot for me. I was like, I think I do want like something actiony, like, something like that. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go for Solstice. This game is the fucking truth. This game rules. I cannot speak to how it, like some of the performance woes that people had like in the beginning, right? But it runs fucking buttery smooth now. And the parry, specifically in this game, is fucking awesome because they take the witch time from Bayonetta. So when you get the perfect parry down, everything slows down and you just fucking go to town on people, which is awesome. But this, when they said that they were doing something that they wanted to make a Claymore inspired fucking thing, that is what this is. The main character even looks like the main character from Claymore. Like it is exactly what you'd want. I'm very early on still, but I don't know if you ever picked it up while it was on Game Pass, Alex. Like if you downloaded it when it was still there, or if you just passed on it entirely.
We talked about it, and I never went back to pick it up. But I remember, like, I just pulled up the pictures. Like I totally remember that with like your companion, your sister, Ghost, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just fell by the wayside because we never played it at the time. So
yeah. So I don't know that it's
worth it though.
Oh yeah, it is. Especially now, I think it's like $30 or something like that. So if at any point you guys are feeling like you want an action game and you don't know what to get into, obviously after the release window that we're in dies down because too many things are fucking coming out. But it's the truth. So if you see it on a Steam sale and you want, it is
put there for the backlog if you got on sale.
very, very, very good.
I'm gonna wishlist it now just so I get the alert if it goes on sale.
Yeah, it's it is fantastic. And it might even still be worth seeing if it might still be on Game Pass. I'm not sure. I don't know 100%.
I just Googled it and it doesn't look like it is.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm gonna wishlist it.
But yeah, wherever it ends up being on sale, totally check it out. It fucking owns. But that's it. I'm done.
Cool. All right.
I'll go quick. So I played a few games. 3 games this week. One of them being Baldur's Gate because I continue. So So I'm running into this problem in Baldur's Gate, and it's not going to be the problem you think it is.
The way you were saying it, I thought you said Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. So it's not the problem that you think I'm going to have, but my problem is I don't want to finish the game because I've invested so much time with these characters that like I don't actually want to get to the end of it. And I've realized that I'm like a couple other games coming out. It's like, oh, I should dabble here, so then I can go back to Baldur's Gate and play it a little bit. But like I'm purposely putting it off because I'm not wanting to finish the story. So I played that, still great. The other game, of course, sight unseen, bought Assassin's Creed Mirage. Fantastic.
Good.
It really is. So what I was joking about earlier. So like you always have the tutorial piece in the beginning before you like are initiated into the Brotherhood and then the world opens up, right? And that first piece where you're not in Baghdad, you're somewhere else. But yeah, like there's some animation stuff where you're in a cutscene and you see people in the background just like walking into somebody else and like bouncing backwards or like, maybe their hand is like through somebody. But since after the 20 minutes of that, when you get to Baghdad and now you're part of the Brotherhood and the world is like open, it's been flawless. The music is incredible. So I've noticed they haven't really gone with the whole like environmental music of like Baghdad way back when. They've just done like some action-y, like more upbeat like music made for this. It doesn't necessarily fit the time period. It's amazing. But being a veteran of these games, I've broken the shit wide open. I've done one quest only because it made me, and then since then I've done nothing. I've unlocked all of the top areas. I made it to the hardest zone that's like, you need to be like assassin rank to be in here, and I'm like just novice. And I ran past everybody, made it to the top of this place, and then started working my way down, just assassinating everyone and like getting every chest I could. I've found my way into areas I should not be in this early. Like I've just because I like these games, right? I play them a lot, so I've just like from minute 1, it says if you look at like my game stuff, it's like 40% complete, and I have done not a single
one story trophy.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
But it is significantly smaller than games in the past. Like it only takes place in Baghdad versus like this whole country or whatever. So that I appreciate a lot. But it's really, really good so far. And I've put a lot of time into that. I was playing that a little bit this morning before we got on. More to report as the story moves along.
Sure.
They have not talked about the Animus yet or any outside Baghdad character. So I don't remember in the last couple games if it took a while before they pulled you out and said, like, here's the background story. Because they do have background stories, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, the current time. But this one has not introduced anything yet. So I have no idea how they're going to do that. Desmond's story is done. Like, a lot of these old stories that you remember are done. So, like, I'm not quite sure how or what this is going to... Right. So I don't know how or what this is going to tie into. If I'm not mistaken, the last story, which was a female lead, I thought ended with Ivor. So, anyway.
Yeah, I believe you. I don't know. I did read a really sick article that was written really well. It was like, they were like, it was framed as a my problem with Assassin's Creed, and then it was the guy talking about how he feels as though the game never has lived up to the original premise of, but he called back to and I went back and watched it, and I was like, damn, this is kind of true. But it's his initial, the way he built up the game in his mind from the very first reveal trailer of the first Assassin's Creed, and how it was like, you're just sort of like very like walking through the streets and like doing these and like being just like a shadow, right? And like someone walking in front of you and then just poof disappearing and then being behind somebody and fucking like and doing your thing, right? Like doing that whole stuff. I went back and watched the original trailer and I was like, damn, that's true. They never really made anything as cool as what this looks like. Like, and that was, and he goes on to explain how that was like the bullshot era of games where like a trailer would come out and you'd have to decide like, is this real?
Is it gonna be what it is?
Or did you hire a movie team to make this trailer and you don't actually have anything that's gonna resemble this at all, right? Like famously, Killzone 2 is a really great example of that, where like Sony just it was a flat out lie of what that was supposed to look like. And then when you get the game, you're just like, this is nowhere close to what this. And
Not the last time Sony would do that with Killzone, to be fair. So
no, it's not. So yes, but so it's similar to that. So he was basically just like the whole article. It was just a really cool deep dive of him sort of like pining for this thing that was actually never like created, kind of stuff. And he's like breaking down this trailer in such an interesting way, like just going frame by frame, being like, look how fucking sick this is, and you're just like, oh man. And then it like cuts to he's like, and then it's like, now cut to me collecting feathers in a second, and I was just like, yeah, I feel you, friend.
Again, my experience playing these games, this one has a couple of skill trees you go through, like many of them do, right? Like you get your skills, and there's like a predator one, which works for your bird companion to help you find like paths in buildings or identify more people.
Sure.
There's a normal fighty one, so like if you're out there fighting with swords or whatever, there's that, and then there's the assassin one. So the first thing I did was look on the assassin one to see where is the multi-kill takedown. Right, so I could like string together assassinations. That's the first thing I went for. So like through the world and exploring, I had to get two other things in that tree, which are just basic stuff. One was like an auto collect, which is fine, so I don't have to like get resources. And then that was the first thing I got. So me, a couple hours into this game, right, running around areas I shouldn't be in, like literally, you can slide in this game too, which is a new addition. So like I'll sprint. And I'll just like slide under a wall and hit the R1 button, and I just like pop off my knees and go and like hit somebody, and I hit another button and throw a dagger and just like hit the other two in the neck. And you do it, it's like, this feels really good.
Yeah.
Now we'll see what happens. If I'm collecting less stuff, I think it'll continue to stay that good and feel that good. But yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that trailer. I get that feeling a lot, but again, like I don't play this game, which is the way they moved, which is like, if you want to go and brawl with your sword dagger, do it. I don't play that way. Like my body count's over a couple hundred, and I've assassinated every single one of them.
It's more just it's more so like a good example is like the fact like, and here's the thing that I think just speaks to Ubisoft as a company and where they're at design wise. But and sometimes first party, like a lot of Sony games will do this too. I think if you're making a skill tree in a video game and one of the nodes on that skill tree is to either get rid of or speed up a mechanic that you put in the game, that is a hint that mechanic should not be in there.
And like pickpocketing people, design. Right? And
like,
you can just auto collect. So
like you're saying the auto collect, so I'll just walk by. Like you're like, I don't have to pick up materials. I just walk by.
So you have to pick up materials. It's for but it is for that same thing. So like if you assassinate somebody, you can then check their body, right? This just does it to where when I assassinate, I auto collect whatever's in their pocket for the same thing, right? Like I'm not collecting materials off bodies.
Just put it in my pocket already. You don't need to make me waste an upgrade point. And it's just like I know I'm thinking about Horizon where it's like speeds up gathering resources by 50%. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to increase it at all. Like it should just be there, and I shouldn't have I should just press the button and it should be in there. Like,
Far Cry is a bad culprit of that too.
Yes, exactly. I just so when you were saying that, it just made me laugh because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, dude,
you know what's funny? I almost said Tomb Raider is a bad culprit of that as well, and that is the team. So it's okay. So there's one other game that I played beyond the one we're going to talk about for our book club this week, and this is one, Christian, you actually have on your wish list because I saw it on Steam. That I went and picked up, called Chants of Sennaar. I 100% of that game. Nice. And I did it. I'm happy because I did it faster than the estimated time on Steam, which was like 8.2 hours. I did like 7.9, I think. So for anybody that isn't familiar with this game, it's an indie game, isometric, really pretty. Like they use a lot of yellows and oranges and purples. But essentially, you wake up, you don't know what is going on in this world around you, but you wake up and you walk outside and you start talking to somebody, and you see like a kind of a puzzle door and it has symbols, and you realize pretty quickly you don't speak anyone's language. And in fact, nobody speaks anyone's language among these levels. It is the literal Tower of Babel. So the whole thing is a puzzle game where you're trying to use context clues, you're trying to figure out puzzles, and you have a journal with you to where you are figuring out the language so you can then communicate. And it's deep. So like there's 5 levels that you go through in the game, and every level and people have their own language. And then once you do that, there is there's a normal ending, and then there's a true ending, and you can only get the true ending by doing some other puzzles that actually start to allow each level of people to talk to each other. Because if you want, like the goal is to get to the top of the tower, and you can do it without a problem. But if you start doing other puzzles, you can then you see these conversations and you can start translating them and helping everybody communicate, and then they kind of like open up pathways, do other stuff. It's good. I liked it. I'll be honest, I had to look up one puzzle in that whole game. It was on the 4th level where you're dealing with some alchemy shit. And I had the entire language worked out. So I was like, cool, I'm feeling confident. I got stuck on this puzzle for over 2 hours.
Oof.
And that's when I had to look it up. And the reason being, it wasn't the language problem. Essentially, it's not like a spoiler, but the puzzle is you have to smelt some metal to get a key. And there's 4 different elements you can use. I knew the elements I needed to use. I figured out other puzzles. I knew the elements I needed to put them in. But you essentially put weights on a scale, and it pours the element in. Sure. And like the heavier the scale, the further down it is. So like it feels more and more and more, right? I could not figure the math out. And when I looked up the puzzle, I still am not really sure how they figure the math out, because it's like you take this number, which is in the thousands. I don't even know how they got the thousands. And then you subtract this number because it's over top of the other one. And once you subtract it, this is how much weight you put on it. And like numbers, it could have been easier if it was even. So if it was like intervals of 10. So if it was like 1,500, 1,000, whatever. But one of the answers was like 914. It's like, how I don't understand what you did to get that. But beyond that one, I figured everything out without help. It did take some time, but that was the fun of it, right? Was like figuring stuff out. The way you get things right, so they don't leave you hanging. You can do puzzles, and you can type in notes. So like I could hit the Y button above a letter, and I'd be like, okay, based on context clues, this means bottle. But you're not confirmed until you do more exploration, and sometimes you'll see like pictures, and in your notebook your character will like draw the picture. And when they draw a picture, you'll have circles to then put the letters into above the picture. And if you get everything right on the page, they light up and say like, hey, this is right. But if one of them's wrong, none of them light up. So like you might have like 20 letters over here, and so it like wouldn't make sense to like, let's try every combination for all 4 letters. It'd take forever, right? So they do a really good job to say you can't really cheat, but you can keep notes and figure it out. But when you do get it right, we'll tell you. So it was fun. It was really, really fun. And I picked that up for a travel game. I could play offline, not worry about it. It was my game this week. But then last night, Allie and I did a Hunt a Killer. So if you guys are familiar with that, it's
yes, I remember you telling me about this. Yeah,
they're like date night puzzle boxes.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're dropped in this world. Somebody's asking you for help. Hey, somebody killed this person. There were 7 people at this party. Here's all the clues in the box to figure out what it is. Who done it? Yeah, and last night's, they usually take a few hours to do, but last night's came with a letter where some things were bolded and a random cipher that made no sense. So I was like, let me see that. I was so locked into this game that I looked down and it took like 2 minutes. I was like, I think I have it. Hold on. and I was doing it. I was yelling out letters, and I was like, "Does that make a word?" And she's like, "It does." And I was like, "Well, then it's not coincidence." So I nailed it. I was like, "Thank you, then, Chance of Sonar."
And then you finish that game, and then you saw that somebody is hiring to have somebody fucking take over, like project manage essentially the translation of that old Pompeii script that they just found.
Yeah.
And you're like, my time has come.
My time is now. My time is now.
Yeah, I will be the one to rewrite history.
So it was good. I would encourage you to play it.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. It's definitely on my list. I can't wait to get to it. It's just gonna be after October as a month.
It's a $20 game. I enjoyed my time with it. I mean, here in a few months you'll probably catch it on a winter sale for like $10. It's an absolute buy at $10, right?
Yeah.
But the color and the artwork, everything was good, and I think they did a really good. The other thing they did really, really well is you go, okay, well, once I figure out the first world, maybe I kind of start to pick up on this pattern. No, like they every world not only has or level has their own language, but they have their own syntax. So they do a good job at like telling the story of why they can't speak. So here, the first level might say like, "Help me find fire," and then you get to the next level, and it's like, or "Help us find fire." The next level will be like,
"Help us find burning."
No, it'll be like fire, help me plural. And like they'll have a symbol for plural, but like also the syntax will be completely backwards, or like you know, the verb may come first, then something else, a descriptor, and then the noun. So like they do this really cool thing to mix it all up.
Sure.
But yeah, that I was really proud. Only looked up one puzzle, was able to 100% it without looking anything up. Even the random achievements. There was an achievement to ring the bell 3 times. I got it just because I was trying to figure out a puzzle and was like, let me turn the volume up. Is this person saying anything when I ring the bell? And just happened to do it. It's like, doo-doo-doo. Oh, cool.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. So, anyway, that was my other game. That was my week.
Thank you for the dopamine game.
Yeah. It was fun. And the color was gorgeous. Like, they did a really good job.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's pretty. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it.
All right. So I'm going to be quick with my week because I got a lot in here. So we're going to kind of go through some of these. I did play some Next Fest games.
I saw you dabbling. I saw your Steam popping off.
Doing some dabbles that night. So we got Burrito Bear. You play a little bear. You can dress him up in cute little outfits and have some fun times with that. And then you're essentially trying to grab the burritos as they fall down. So you're essentially, it's that game of you got a character, you're moving them back and forth on the screen, and burritos are falling down, but also objects you don't want to get. If you hit a whole bunch of objects that you're not supposed to hit, it builds up your fart meter, your gas meter. And then if you build up too much, you will fart, and you'll lose, I don't know if it's all, but you lose a good chunk of like your burrito power that you've gotten.
This is absolutely a Preston dabble game.
This is an
fun,
iPad
dumb, like,
game.
Yeah, it's a good, fun, like, dumb, like, 15 minutes I played. Like, let's just see how far this goes.
Is when you're sitting on an airplane and you look over and there's a child with an iPad this close.
Yeah, no, this is 100%
that's the
fun
game
iPad game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you get all your burritos to go to the next level,
fart meter,
and then once you get all the burritos, your bear becomes super huge, and you're looking for the green burrito to come down. Once you hit that one, that's the one that you unlock the portal. Of course, you fart the portal into existence. But like when you get that final one, the bear just goes like plain faced, and he goes and then he farts, and then the portal happens. You go to a different spot, and you have some fun in the next level, doing the same damn thing. I'm curious to see how much they're actually going to try to sell this for. I don't know if they're going to do a free to play with cosmetic purchases, or if they're just going to do like $5 game. But
$2 game or something.
This should not be more than $5. This should not be more than $5. So we'll see how it is. I play the demo. Demo right now is on Next Fest. If you want something to do for like 10 minutes and it's some dumb fun, you want to have a little giggle, feel free. It's fun.
Yeah.
Next one I played is called Unlimited. I was excited about this at first. I played it. It is not great. It is a very high-speed, intense racing game, futuristic racing game. So it's supposed to look kind of like F-Zero. And I guess I'm like, sweet. And like you load up, like, man, this looks good. Like it looks very pretty. I'm like, you could do really well with this. It could be a good game. But the racing feels bad. So you're going really super duper fast, and they have like only 2 levels in it right now in the demo, and there's nobody playing it, and B, like you're playing with like the bots, but the first level I played, it's like this kind of like Coruscant looking level. It's like, big, tall cities, skyscrapers everywhere, beautiful look to it. But you're playing like on a like a high rise kind of like road that's going through like a highway, and you're going so fast that you constantly fall off, and like you're sliding, you're boosting. I want to go fast the entire time, but you can't. You gotta slow down super to go down these corners, and you're going so fast that you can also lift off of the track. So like you might see like a warp somewhere, like, okay, I'm gonna lift off the track a little bit to get to there. None of it felt great. And anytime I hit one of those warps, like it would toss you off the fucking thing, or like if you get off of it, you can't get back on. You have to press the Y button real quick to kind of reset you, and it looked really good. If they had a way of helping you tie down to the track, that would probably help it out immensely. There is like one that they had, it was like a desert, and like towards the end, like there'd be like this little small puddle of water, not small, a big puddle of water that you can like fly over the cross of, and it looked great. And going through that wasn't as bad because if you fly off the track on that one, you just turn your ass back into it and you're fine. But it just seemed very loosey-goosey when it came to the racing. That's the only thing I was like, if that is still the same way when it launches, like I will not be getting this game. Now, if they fix that and they kind of tighten that racing down a little bit, I will probably have a really fun time with this game. But unfortunately, probably not. Pixel Junk Eden 2. I don't know if you guys have ever played the first Eden game.
So I was hoping that you would talk about this because I love Pixel Junk Eden, and so I saw that there was 2. I was like, fuck.
That's what I said. I'm like, fuck yes. So I played the demo. The demo was like the first level you get in there, and it's that game. They gave you like, I don't remember if they gave your little character like that they name or that what they're called. But now they have like a world around what they're called. I honestly don't like.
They didn't have that.
So they do that, and now you can unlock different ones. So it's kind of like in the whole thing of Vampire Survivors, when you're unlocking characters, you can just bring that into the world with you, and you either get more experience, or maybe this one jumps a little bit farther, maybe this one swings out with this little stick a little bit farther. But essentially, what you're doing is you play this little teeny tiny character in this weird abstract world, fucking crazy, trippy, like house beat music going, like lo-fi music going in the background.
Soundtrack still
soundtrack is banger, dude. I was playing like that's like the second section, and it's like it got some real low bass and some real funky shit, and the colors are all going trippy and crazy on you. I'm like, I am probably gonna buy an edible and play this game and have the fucking night of my goddamn life. Like it's gonna be so much fun.
Hell yeah.
But no, it's a lot of fun. It's exactly what you would want it to be. But for this game, Alex, you play like a little teeny tiny character. Mm-hmm. You're on this kind of, it's very basic, like a 2D plane. But you're going like up and like very vertical, and you jump off of something, and then you can have this like little string or web or whatever, and you spin around wherever you got off of, and you're collecting these little things of pollen, which therefore populate these like little empty circles around, which make things grow up and change to where you can kind of get further up there. And then there's like there's an end item that you get to. Again, you have to fill that one up with pollen as you get to it, and there can be different upgrades you get later on, or like different enemies that can come into. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good mindless game, I would say, but it's
I miss those Pixel Junk games, dude.
Yeah,
I like.
When I saw Hero 2, I'm like, oh shit, a new Pixel Junk game? Fuck, I'm in.
Yeah, and then Pixel Junk Shooter, I loved.
Pixel Junk Shooter was good. Yeah, I can't remember what the other ones were. There was another one that I really liked. Oh, Pixel Junk Monsters.
It was like a tower defense one.
Tower defense. That was a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's a good one. And then one that I downloaded but I cannot play because every time I click on the play button, it says launching. It says stop, as in like you can stop the game, and then it goes right back to play. So it only says that I've played a minute of this game. That would be Sky Children of Light. So the phone game from the guy, the people that brought you like that Game Studios, And there's a known issue that some people just can't launch the game. It's a port of a mobile. This is like the beta / demo, whatever.
So it was on iPad when it first came out.
Yeah, it's been an iOS game.
And apparently it's doing fucking really good job, doing really well on the mobile services. So they're bringing it to PC. I'm very curious to play it and mess around with it, but they don't let me. And I try to diving into the community forums of it. They're like, oh, update your drivers. And you're like, this and that. I've updated my drivers. I reinstalled the game. I've done everything I could to do it, and it just doesn't want to launch for me. So I'll give it time. Once they get kind of out of this like opening Next Fest weekend, whatever. We'll see how it does, see if I can launch it. But yeah, I can't play that one. I want to. But that's all the Next Fest games I played. I've gone through that list of like Next Fest games, and man, there's like almost too many games.
It is. It's exhausting.
And sometimes. It's a lot of like do you like that game? Remember that game you like? Well, we made like a B version of it, so it's not going to be as good. It's not going to look as good, but it's still definitely one of those games. And then every 10 games you look through, there's some type of porn hentai game after that. So
I had to filter
Steam, baby.
Yeah, dude. You have to. So an easy. Here's a
do you think?
tip.
No, I want to see how weird it is. I want to see how weird these fucking people get. So
I
I'm
know.
like, you hover over it. You don't click on it because you don't want it to fucking say that you like these games. I've seen you look at this game. Like, no, I hover my little mouse over the icon. It shows me a little trailer of it. I'm like, wow, that you really just went there. Okay, well, continue on. Scroll up.
So, this quick tip was not for you because I know that you love to observe. I'm saying for everybody else who wants to experience Steam Next Fest, but think, how can I trim this list down? You can
just filter out all of those if you want.
So there's tags, and when you go into your profile, you can filter out certain tags. So if you're just like any adult-only games, any porn games, any whatever.
Sexual content, nudity, you can take out.
Yeah, you're just like bang, 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 just filter out all those tags. And then all of a sudden that list of 1,500 games goes down to like 300, and you're like, all right, I can sort through this.
Yeah.
There's so many of those because like half of them are just expansions of themselves. You know, like there.
There was one that was like number 7 in a series. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, okay,
and I bet they pop out every like 3 months.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You know, people need new material to get.
You ever heard of
true.
Pornhub or something like that? Shit's there for free, man. You don't need to pay money for a game version of it.
You pay. Nah, you pay for that stuff on the websites now, or Preston. I was like,
if I ever go to someone's like Steam library, and see some of those games on there, I don't want to touch anything on that computer desk at all.
Maybe they're from Utah because Utah, you now have to have a digital ID, so you can't even go to those websites without showing the government that you've been there. So maybe they play Steam games instead. You don't know. Don't yuck anybody's yum, especially from you.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
dude,
I didn't say I filtered it out.
That point was violent.
Piercing. That's some Assassin's Creed shit.
I'm just saying, don't yuck anybody's yum.
Especially from you dirty motherfucker.
You fucking deviant.
But that's my problem with Steam Next Fest is the thing that you said at first, Preston, is it really is, and this I don't mean this as like a PSA because like what the fuck do I know, but I think the best way to make your game stand out, you have to do two things. Because I'm not gonna click. A game. If I'm going through the list on Steam Next Fest, isn't even going to get a click from me unless you've crossed these two first barriers, which one of them Preston talked about. You scroll first is thumbnail, right? Like if you see the thumbnail and title and you go, oh, okay, that could look neat. You hover over it, and the trailer will immediately start to play. You have to make sure as a developer that quick video that's about to play
5 seconds or 10 seconds. I look at that
better
trailer.
fucking grab me so I can go, okay. You have now been moved to the maybe pile. You have moved to the I will click your store page pile.
Yeah.
And you still have hurdles to get through on that point, but you at least got me on the store page. That is your first, because there's Preston nailed. There's so many times that you go through and you're like, hey, you remember Metroid? And you're just like, fuck.
Do you like Castlevania? Do you like? Do you know how many Vampire Survivor likes I saw?
I know,
that fucking
dude.
lineup?
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, I'm sure now. Yeah, it's even worse.
Everywhere.
Yeah, dude. Like it's one of those. So you have to be like, you have to be so selective with what you even click on the store page for, because there's just it's just too much. And so that's why, games like that text adventure one that I was talking about, or like Chants of Sonara is another one. It was another Steam Next Fest game. Where when you click, like you hover over it and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Like I have not seen this, and you immediately click on it and you're like, oh, okay, you're actually doing something sick. Yep, add you, and then you go right. Like you go from that. You have to nail that first 10 seconds of somebody hovering over it, because there's very real possibility that you hover over that and you go, no.
Continue.
My favorite Steam trailers are the ones that are like, you hover over it and it's like, look at the cinematic, and you're like, okay, cool, and then after 10 seconds it's like, just kidding, it's a puzzle game, and all those cinematics are what you get between puzzles. You're just like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah. The other part is you need to have a good title, because if you get a good title, guess why I downloaded Burrito Bear. I needed to know what that game was. So I hovered over it. I saw it was this dumb little fucking catch burritos with the bear's mouth thing. I'm like, bet I'll do that for 5 minutes. See how it is.
I bet you did.
I did. I did.
I liked his addition of fucking deviant, which was really good.
Other than that, dabbled a little bit of some Street Fighter 6. I got to play the new character Aki. Christian, I can fix her.
I believe you believe that. I do. I do believe you believe that.
Very evil
broken
poison
with
lady.
baggage.
Yeah, she's very scarred lady.
Evil character.
Very evil character. Yeah.
I love it. She's very scarred. I can fix her.
Yeah, I can fix her though. But no, I played her a little bit. She's a lot of fun. A lot of build up, a lot of preemptive moves you'll have to do because her thing is about poison. So you want to poison your character so that way you get some whittling down as you're doing your combos. And some of her, like there's one move that she sets up to where she like just like slings to the ground and just like kind of slithers a little bit, and then you get to choose what you want to do outside of that. So it's kind of like Cammy's to where she does that twirl in the air, and then you can choose one of your 3 options, and then you can do it just kind of surprise somebody. But yeah, she has that to where she does that, and she like slides around you, or she grapples you all goofy, crazy snake lady like, or she like just shoots out of it and like kicks you and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun. It's very interesting to play.
Yeah.
Her haircut makes her look like an evil Sia.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Yeah, apparently she's very much like a other character I've never played in Street Fighter, Fang. Apparently she plays a lot like him, but I've never played, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Man, December is going to come here, and Ed is going to release, and I will be a happy boy. That's literally what I just want Ed in that goddamn game. I'm like,
they'll probably put him in. Yeah.
No, he's announced. It's December.
Oh, it's actually announced. Okay.
That's why I keep saying is I'm just like
I haven't paid attention to what's coming out.
Yeah, I just want Ed in the game. It's literally I just want Ed in the game.
Fair enough.
I need.
We'll get back into Street Fighter 6 come December.
No, we can play before then. I'll be fine. There's other people I can play. I just really like Ed, and I just want to play him. I was looking. Somebody was showing footage of. I was watching somebody was ranking opening themes for Street Fighter, and the one for Street Fighter 5. Obviously, you don't have to put it in, but. If you guys, after this podcast, if you looked that up, and you looked up Street Fighter V opening theme and then press play for 30 seconds, you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I see why Christian likes this. It was made for him and probably nobody else. So I always think it's super underrated, blah, blah, blah. Either way, during that clip of the Street Fighter V theme, somebody was showing Ed's Nero version of his costume that they released in Street Fighter V, where he has the fucking Devil Trigger, Yamato ghost behind him with the gauntlet. And I was like, God damn it, dude. I just want fucking Ed back in the game. Like, I just so mad. But, yeah.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6, a little bit of that. Playing a lot more of Armored Core 6. I did finish Christian's favorite part of the game last night. It was very fun, so I'm into Act 4. Been going through the arenas as well. So I am in the Class B arena fights right now.
Yeah.
Still just melting motherfuckers like it's no tomorrow. Yep. I now got the attachment to where I can do 2 primary weapons. So I can do a primary weapon on my shoulder now. And it's the coolest thing in the world. So it's like, it's not that you can use the weapon on your primary shoulder. It's like a backpack kind of thing. So what you do is like I have right now, it's just straight up 2 fucking Gatling guns, the biggest fucking kinetic weapon you can get, and it's like brrrr, like this hosing, and you just see that little like the stamina meter to get them stunned. It's like I'm like yeah, because now what I can do, I can just hold one of them down, do the thing, maybe shoot off some rockets off my other shoulder, and then once that one is about to get like overheated, stop shooting that one, bring the other one up, continue on with the railing, and as soon as I get them down and stunned. Alex, it's the coolest fucking thing when you switch your weapons because I take the Gatling gun, he kind of like takes it, he lets go, it gets caught in like the backpack slider thing,
yeah,
and then you see it slide back in. I grab my Buster and I just pile bunker it right into him, and you see like half their health go away. It was the nicest thing in the world.
It's a pretty game. It's pretty. I like watching.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah. I love that game so much.
Very happy. That is, dude.
I was looking earlier at GG, and I have played 15 games this year, not counting the games that are still coming out, and not counting games that you guys have played, like that one that I have not played.
Oh yeah, dude,
it's insane.
This year's gonna be
insane.
It's gonna be a 7-part episode of us. Yeah, but
yeah,
but Preston, you're not, dude. the fucking stylish way that they nail it. Like they just nail it.
Yeah,
so good.
They did everything right that you would want in a mech game. Anyone who enjoys mechs, this is for you. This is your game. You don't need to be a FromSoft person. Like, this is your game.
So I know we'll talk about it during Game of the Year, obviously, when we go into full spoilers. But man, since you got to the end of Act 3, you know the most.
So I saw parts of that one. I did not realize what it all entailed as far as the fight. So it's essentially the end of Act 3 is a big boss battle. I'm not going to say what happens in there except for the mission you play right before that. You're supposed to go and get like a secret weapon that's supposed to help you take down the big boss.
Yeah,
take down one of his shields. I go into it. I thought that was just a cannon that would be in the background that they're using, which one of the guys uses for like the second weapon, which is really cool.
Oh boy, does he!
So I accidentally go into the end mission without that weapon, and there's a whole dialogue for it.
Oh,
it's like yeah, and we got you over there because you're supposed to be the one bringing it. So it's like Raven brought this thing in, and I'm like, and it's like, wait, you don't have the weapon? God, you know how to ruin a fucking vacation. And it's like, and you hear your narrator in the background going,
I didn't even know that.
Your person narrating in the background is going, so I guess we're just going to try to whittle him down. So good luck. And I'm like, nope, press start. Went back to the assembly. Tossed it on my shoulder. Went back in there. And then it's just like normal. I'm like, I'm not playing this level without the weapon that they wanted me to take in there. Hell no. I'm not going to try to beat my head against this wall. I got in there, perfectly fine.
I didn't even know that was the thing you could do. That's amazing.
There's a whole dialogue string for it and everything.
I love that. So, okay, but...
They told me, like, no, son, you probably want to bounce back and get that weapon real quick.
Now that you've done it, so that sequence, when I got to the end, I was like, Rusty is the fucking man. Like, I was like, God, dude,
I liked him in like the past one, like when he's kind of chit-chatting with you. He's like more of a buddy, like another one of those mercenaries.
He calls you
there.
buddy all the time too.
Yeah,
nice.
he's your bro. He's your friend. So it's and then what he does in like that later part of it, it's very, very cool.
You
and all
just
things
see
up
it
very
off
nicely.
of the background. It's just perfect. Everything about it is so perfect. I can't wait because that's so now you understand what I was saying. That is one of my contenders for moment of the year. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
Like when you are in the middle of a mission or doing something and you're just like, oh, dude, this is... You guys knew what you were doing.
I got a spot in Hi-Fi Rush, and I got a spot in Jedi Survivor that I have like my top contenders of like moments of the year.
I would. The only one I would add, and Christian would have experienced this too, is there's one or
16
two
as
in
well.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, 16 as well. Yeah.
There's some moments in that game too.
So there are definitely some moments in that game.
Yeah,
for
whether
sure.
you want to be sad, whether you want to be hyped, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Also, snapping. We snap all day, every day.
So you are anti-snap.
So,
what is going on?
Not
anti-snap. I'm still playing Snap. I'm still enjoying most of the time Snap. So I'm just getting my shit pushed in constantly right now.
Oh.
It seems like every season I get to 70, I'm stuck there. I might get a little bit into 80, but I drop back down to 70. I can't get past it, no matter what. I have most of the cards, at least the ones that are existing. Like Series 3 and down, I have all those cards. So it's really only the new cards that come out, whether or not I get them in the Spotlight caches or whether I get them with having enough tokens. That's the only way I'm getting those cards now. And good luck getting that many tokens. I'm getting 100 tokens a piece when I get a cache, maybe. Because I could be getting an avatar, I could be getting credits. Like you could get anything else, but sometimes you get 100 tokens. It costs 3,000 for the cheapest card. Those are like your Series 4 cards, and Series 5 cards are 6,000. Now, if you have bought variants from that shop, once you get, I think it's like 10 or 12 of those, you get a special variant, and then you also get a 2,000. So it kind of gives you a nice little jump. But you have to get
if you
12
pay
of
money
those. You have to get 12 of those variants to get those tokens. You can only do it, I think it's like once a week or once a day or something like that too. So it's like you have to put a lot of money into to get that. I'm like, I'm not about that life. We're not doing that. There's a magic variant right now that I want to get. That's like it's like $15 and comes with gold and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm getting to the point now where it's like I don't feel like putting $15 down anymore.
I mean, you put like 800 hours in a game, $15, not bad. You do that once or twice a month. And then
I've already put. I did $10 for the season, and I did $10 for the random mystery card because I was like, just a little copium, no, not copium. Oh yeah, they just give me the good feel goods, so that way I can get a special new card. And of course, I got some
the
dopamine.
That I didn't like.
Dopamine, yes, thank you. but it just I'm just not doing great. And like today, for like Snap Sunday, like I'm sitting there like, let's try this out. We're supposed to like, do Elsa Bloodstone, win 8 matches with her in your deck, and then you'll get, I think it's like 150 gold or whatever. I'm like, let's just go ahead and work on that. I get in there, I go into Conquest, and I am getting stomped. They just will not stop killing me. Like, it's just destroying me. Whether they toss out Wave to stop me from doing these, and I have Mobius in my deck, so that way it can stop Wave from hurting my ability to play my cards. Guess who doesn't draw Mobius that entire time he's playing Conquest? Or if he does draw it, he draws it on the last turn, which is not helping me at all. And then, on top of all of that, Alioth is still there. I still don't have Alioth. So you know what happens? I'm like, okay, well, I'll play my big cards, which means that I'm playing big cards, and then at the very end, I want to play a super big card, and it's going to be great. Every fucking time someone has Alioth, and it's like, oh, you like that? You like what you're doing there in that lane? That's the only thing you're doing in that lane? You really need that to happen? No, it's not happening. No, you're good.
So,
Bye.
So is the problem that like the game's been out long enough and gained enough popularity that you just have absolute killers all the time, and like you just can't?
You have whales. You have whales who have every card.
Yeah.
If we have
just
every
can't
card,
get
and then
past
now
seven,
it's getting
yeah.
to the point to where I'm in the upper echelon of like, I have most of the cards that I feel like I need. Like, there's not a card out there outside of Alioth that I'm sitting here going like, I would really like to have that card. I think it would benefit me and my play styles if I have these cards. Alioth would be a big helper. But other than that, like, I got most of the cards that I would want to have to help me out with my decks. But I
So
just
if you
think
got Alioth though,
You would go. You think you would go back to winning more?
not necessarily, because I guarantee there'd be some bullshit around that. We'll find out. One day I'm going to get Alioth, and we'll find out how pissed off I get because they're going to fuck with my Alioth, or they're going to nerf it into hell. They already nerfed it once, but they didn't nerf it enough for me.
The real question is this the start of Street Fighter Sundays?
It's going to be possibly the start of something Sunday soon. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it yet. Hey, maybe Star Wars Wednesdays turns into Star Wars Sundays. Maybe
Sure.
Street Fighter we do on Sundays.
So what do you do with all these digital cards you now have and invested in over a year and a half
Just
of
look at
playing
them.
this game?
Like, yeah, it looks nice.
I think you could still play Snap casually, right? Like you could still.
No, like I will still play Snap casually. It's just like I'm not going to put an investment into it. Like I want to get Infinite. Like right now, I want to get Infinite because there is like the season is like the spoopy season, and Blade is like the card back that you can get in this season. So I just got the Blade card back, which is really cool. It's like black. It kind of looks like his like chest armor, and it has got his fucking sword right in the middle. It's fucking dope as hell. And then if you get the Infinite version, you get the gold sword with the gold embroider. I'm like, fuck, that looks rad. But I can't
And everybody
get
would
it.
know that you've been
Then
in
everybody would
Ultimate or
know.
in Infinite.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I've done that once, so like, at least I've had that, I guess. But yeah, it's just I'm just not feeling the game as much anymore. You know, no one loves a game that you lose all the time. Okay, and
That's fair. No,
I'm not playing the worst. Don't get me wrong, I make mistakes just like everybody else, but like I just feel fucked every time I play a card. It's like the cards are against me every single time. I'm not drawing my cards at all. And it's like maybe it's just I'm not normally a card game player, so maybe this is kind of just showing me more of that.
No, yeah. So that's the thing I was gonna say, right? Is like, I think the problem is so with competitive games or a game that is a one-on-one sort of style, you have to try to find a way to make losing more palatable to the player, right? Mm-hmm. So like, and it doesn't happen, and sometimes people will just bounce off and go like, it's just not for me, and you have to sort of juggle that, because like fighting games is an example, right? Like Preston and I don't mind getting our shit blown up in fighting games because we like the process.
Yeah,
like
and you can find a way around it, but
like
this is a card game. It's different.
Because yeah, exactly. Because like you can set little milestones for yourself, right? Like if I have a combo string that absolutely blows up Preston every single time, or vice versa, and you set the goal in your mind of, okay, I know this combo always kicks the shit out of me. I want to stop one hit, or I want to find one block,
yeah.
or I want to find one thing that I can do in there, right? And eventually you will, and even though you're still quote unquote getting blown up, or you still might lose that overall match,
improving somehow.
Yeah, if you hit that one little milestone that you set for yourself, you're like, I did it, right? Like I didn't get perfected, or I blocked this one string.
Now you know how to handle this combo to get out of it.
And now,
you feel
but
good.
now I feel like I'm improving, even if I still lost, right? So there's this little bit of give and take that the player can have, where you're like, I enjoy the process. With card games, I think especially what we'll call like freemium card games, right? Sure. Is like you don't. There's just not a way to do that. Like I think it's very like
the fighting game reference. Like the fighting games, you're given all your cards, but that way. Like you're given all your cards, you can use them whenever, that kind of thing. This is
everybody
like,
has the same cards.
If I run a Shuri deck and I don't fucking draw a Shuri, that feels bad, man. And like you gotta find a way to build your deck up to where like, what if I don't get Shuri? Well, I need to be able to play things at least then, like beforehand, so that way if I don't get Shuri, it's still kind of okay. So my Shuri deck has changed over this past week. To where it's like I'm not expecting, like if I still don't get that end game, I still have enough cards to where maybe I can get through, as long as they don't have the 1 or 2 cards that are meant to fuck my deck, which now unfortunately are in the meta.
Yeah, that's why I think the way card games survive, and in fairness, this is how most people play them, but I think the way card games survive is when you play a card game in a group of friends. Right, like so, like
sure.
When you have a physical game, like a Magic or a like Pokemon,
you're hanging out,
pick your poison, right? But exactly, if it's the 3 of us, right? Like if we're all 3 playing a card game and we all meet up every Friday night and we do it and we're doing our thing and blah 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 blah. I know that we all have the same odds, the same levels of buy-in, whatever. Like we're all going and buying cards together and then trying to build things and do things, right? So like you keep the competition insular between yourselves, right? You don't have to worry about the guy who's like, oh, this is all I do, and so I've spent $4,000.
Yeah,
right. And you're like, okay, well, it's not fun. I'm not gonna have fun. Like you're gonna smoke me, and it's because you clearly have it's not like a skill, it's just you have more money than me. And
the nice part of that is that they do have a way of kind of helping that out. It's like once you get into infinite rank, you're just fighting people in there, and at that rank, once you're now in infinite rank, it now actually
removes you from the pool.
It removes you from that pool, and now you have your own pool to where it's based on how many cubes you gain, shows your ranking total globally. So now players are going towards that more and not even going to Conquest. They want to get like their smaller number in their global rankings, which is nice because that way you're not always fighting those guys who are going in there crazy. But then you get some late comers who are like, oh, I'll go ahead and get infinite because I know I can do it within a week, so I'll do it the last week. And then all of a sudden they're just running through people in that entire Conquest like ramp up. Yeah. And I think the issue with me probably also is I've gotten past the collection ramp. Like the collection is no longer the thing really much anymore. It is kind of here and there. Like I really want this card, I really want this variant, stuff like that. But like as far as gaining new cards, being able to build new decks, Marvel is super new, so it doesn't have an insane amount of cards. Like Magic, there are so many different decks you can make with Magic, and Pokemon as well. To where there's just so many fucking cards already out there. To where there's so many variations right now. You need to be playing, if you want to get like top Conquest, if you want to get top Infinite rank, you need to be playing like one of 3 or 4 decks. It's pretty much all. That's all you can do. And
then it's just RNG when you come up against the.
And then it's just RNG
same decks, right?
And RNG never feels good.
Yeah, your heart can't be in the car sometimes. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So it's just getting that feels bad. And it felt good to get those Series 3. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this next Series 3 card. We're gonna make a deck with it, this and that. Now it's like, okay, I get Elsa Bloodstone. I'm like, well, I'll put her in one of my other decks. It'll feel good. It'll feel different for like the day, but after that, it's nothing.
Yeah.
After that, maybe I'll build my new deck, but maybe it won't. Who knows? But it just doesn't feel as good if I'm not collecting anymore, which is kind of where I'm at now since I've collected so much of it.
So maybe we have Snappy Sundays. Maybe we have something else.
Who knows? I'm up for options. If you want me to do something, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. You never know. Could be anything.
There you go.
Could be anything. 2, and I'll be quick about it. Jedi Academy is going. It's fun on Wednesdays. The dialogue's horrendous, but I do like the linear gameplay it's giving me. It's not having me find a crate in the middle of nowhere in a gray level. So I'm enjoying that. I'm not getting as stuck.
You are watching game design improve in front of your eyes.
Yes. So it's like, oh, you just want to be a Jedi with lightsabers. We're not worried about running around with guns anymore, really. And we're not intricate puzzle level design. Like, no, it's a bit more straightforward. I've been enjoying that. And then I also dabbled with Forza Motorsport through Game Pass. It looks very nice. I don't think it's doing anything more than what Gran Turismo did for me. So I don't think I'm going to sit here and go, oh, it's an amazing racing game. It's It's another racing game. It looks great. It plays like
For
a
people
racing
who
game.
like racing sims,
It looks like there's a
racing
whole
sim,
bunch of
yeah,
this.
not even
yeah.
a game.
Yeah, it looks like a whole bunch of this like currencies in there, stuff like that. Like, I'm good. If I want to do that, I'll go back to Gran Turismo. It's like I don't need to be doing this with another different game. It's fine. If you want a new racing game, you didn't have a PlayStation and Gran Turismo already, and you got an Xbox with Game Pass. Guess what? You got a great new racing game to play. Not for me, but I played it. It looks great. It's fine.
That's fair.
It's good.
Totally fair.
That's it. That's all I got. Now I'm gonna talk about things I
right.
watched.
All right. Well, that our quick week went to a long week, but let's dive in because this one actually might be a little quicker.
This one will be quick.
Christian, your where you told us to play to and stop, I think was a little off.
Well, it wasn't off. It was just we didn't know, and so like
Right.
you do it, and then it happens in an hour, and you're like, oh,
That's it. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll make it a little longer this time, but yeah. So Metro Last Light obviously is what we're here to talk about. So that's what we're playing on our gaming book club.
Is Last Light a new name? Like, because it's also 2034, right? Versus 2033. So, like, if you Google it, you can Google Metro 2034, and it's, like, synonymous with Last Light.
That could be you know how like in
Maybe a
Japan
book to
Resident
game.
Evil games
Oh,
are called Biohazard, and then here we call them Resident Evil. It could be a situation like that. I honestly don't know. I have always
Okay.
seen the game called Metro Last Light, and everywhere I
Okay.
look, that's what it's called. So that's what I assume. But if you can Google 2034, then sure,
Pulls it right up. Yep.
Then that could very well be the case.
Maybe it's the book thing, too, because I know there are multiple books,
Yep,
so maybe
totally
that's
could
why.
be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're here to talk about Metro Last Light. So this is my first time playing this. All three of us, we've never played this before. We're using the book club. I'm using the book club to go through the series that I've always wanted to go through. So the funny thing about this game, and Alex and I both experienced this, is when you start it up, it just plays the intro from Metro 2033, and so you're like, did I pick the right game? And then
Dude, I had a double back for a second. I'm like,
Yep, and then all of a sudden, like, it loads up to the right title screen. You're like, oh, okay, great. So first thing you notice, at least in my experience, first thing you notice with Last Light is that it runs much better than the first game. Like
it looks pretty,
looks
runs
better.
great. Yeah.
yeah, it
runs
is
great.
way smoother, just even on the menus, and you're like, okay, this is great.
It got
I'm
that
happy
successful
that
first
this-
game upgrade.
Yeah. So, but you start the game, and it basically starts up with. So Artyom's still here. I didn't know. I was under the
I heard it,
impression
like,
that he's not there, but I was like, oh, okay, dope. Artyom's still here. So, but the game starts up, and it's Artyom basically going through a sort of monologue, like an inner monologue, a dream, talking about how he can't remember his mom, but he's like remembering sort of the final days, like before the Metro sort of actually became a thing, before the nukes went off and all that
Which
stuff.
was a nice touch. I think it's something that was
I
missed
agree.
in the first one.
Because Artyom is a silent, he's still, so far anyway, is a silent protagonist. He talks to you through the journal entries still. But it was, I agree, it was nice to have a little bit of characterization where you're just like, oh, okay, like you don't remember anything. And he's like, he basically ends the whole monologue by saying, like, I'd trade absolutely anything just to be able to remember, like, what my mom looked like, because I just can't remember it, right? And so you're like, okay, cool. And then who is there to greet you out of your slumber but our man, Khan?
Khan.
Yeah.
And-
I was happy to see him.
Yeah, dude. I figured as soon as I loaded up, I was like, oh, Preston's going to be stoked. I was like, yeah, so here he is. So he immediately starts in on, he's like, yo, I went out to the site where you fucking bombed everything. Uncool, by the way. He's very not cool with you happy about that. And it's funny. So just so you guys are clear, I think I mentioned it last time, but no matter what ending we would have gotten, this is the ending where you bomb it is the canon ending. So that's all that would have gotten brought forward. Like there's no save import or anything.
Which makes the option for a secondary ending an odd choice.
I agree. Yep.
Well,
I
it's-
100% agree.
They didn't probably expect. Well, didn't expect. There's a possibility they probably weren't going to make a sequel.
Yeah, I think that's probably what
maybe,
it boiled down
maybe.
to, is that they just were like, who knows, so let's just do this as like a fun thing, and then if it gets enough, then we'll, yeah. So I can totally see that. But so Khan is basically like, yo, I saw like one of the Dark Ones is still alive. We have to go. We have to convince Miller to let us go and basically right this wrong. Like we can't like we can't fuck this up. You're the missing link essentially. You're the key that we
you know
can
how
use
to talk to them.
Yeah.
They communicate with you.
So you immediately stand up, and I don't know if you guys immediately went over to the little guitar and pressed the button.
No, yeah, we're looking all around. Yeah.
Of course, so you do, and what happens? But the same animation for the karma points plays, and you're like, cool. So these are still here. All right. So I have to be on the lookout for fucking these. Apparently, I don't know where they're at. I'm not gonna look. I'm just gonna play the game. Whatever happens, happens. Right. So you walk through the metro. So I did a thing here, and I ended up having to switch it back because it's just a little pet peeve of mine. But so at first I started this game with Russian voice lines or voice acting because I wanted to see how it would sound. Like I heard people say that it sounds really good. I did that, and I had to switch it back because the ambient dialogue does not get subtitles. So you just hear people talking Russian, and there's just nothing, like you just don't. And I'm like, okay, this is, and the problem is that because the ambient dialogue is going on, and then also somebody in front of you will be talking, you're like, I don't know what I'm reading. Like I don't know, like if there's multiple things, if there's multiple voices happening right now, I'm like, I don't know who's talking to me or where I should be looking or whatever this is. So I was like, all right, fuck this, I gotta switch it back. But so switched it back. Kept going, so you're walking through, and you're basically just you're just a beeline straight for Miller, and Khan's basically gonna meet you over there. So you get in the room, and Miller they're basically talking about how they need to get ready because it seems like the Nazis are scoping out D6, where you guys have basically, I guess that's one thing to mention too, is that D6, the place that you launched the offensive from last time, or where the missiles came from last time, you basically guys have cleared that out, and you've turned it into a massive outpost,
which was the second nice touch of this game.
Yeah.
When you realize you're in D6, you're walking in the same computer room you did in the first game,
but completely cleaned up, and the power has been restored, and everything looks good, and you're like, wow, okay, so we're living here, right? We're doing it. So then you get into the command room, and Miller's base, they're planning how they're gonna deal with the Nazi issue of what happens if they try to get too close or do whatever, right? And in the middle of that, Khan drops his report, and he's like, yo, there's a Dark One still alive. Artyom and I need to go. Let us investigate it. And Miller's like, that's cool. You guys can go do that. I'm going to send, I think Anna is her name, the sniper with you. And Preston. And so...
Who's playing hard to get, but we know she's going to give in by the end.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Preston Tsundere, fucking mama over here. Yeah, and so... But he's like, she'll come with you, and when you guys lure it out into the open, she'll fucking snipe it, and we'll be done with this problem. And Khan is like, whoa. No, that is not what we signed up for. Let us go talk to it. We need to fix this. And Miller is like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? Arrest him now. He doesn't even waste.
Yeah.
He doesn't even argue with him. He's like, not like, oh, Khan, what do you mean? Or, oh, he's like, nope, your mind's been corrupted. Throw him in jail. And Khan is pleading with you as he's getting dragged out of the room.
Well, he's getting treated like shit the entire time. When he's waking you up, they're like, Khan, what the fuck are you doing in here? He's not even supposed to be in this area.
Yeah. And so they're throwing him in jail, and he's like, Artyom, do not fucking do this. If you please at least think about it for 5 fucking seconds. Don't do this, right? And he gets dragged out, and I was like, all right, let's go fucking murder this thing. And so you leaving the journal entry then pops up where Artyom is sort of having he's like, I know Khan thinks I should talk to him, but I should probably just smoke this thing and be done. Let's not even, fucking worry about it. So you go out, and you make it out to where the Dark One's nest is, and you can see like it's still parts of it are still on fire, like it's been a little while since you've done this. Like, I think they said like 6 months or something like that.
But
so
you
it's been
nuked it.
I mean, like you said, multiple misses.
There's still a ton of radiation, which that'll come into play later. I actually died to that, so I don't know if you guys experienced.
No, I did not.
If you push the boundaries, okay. So I pushed the boundaries a little far.
Okay, fair enough.
But you will like even argument like they mention while you're walking around like oh my god, like what's going on here? Like something is still happening. Like there shouldn't be fire or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So you start walking through, and right when you get up there is you see this little baby Dark One, and it's sort of it stares at you for a second, and then it gives you like a little sort of flashback of everything that happened. And then you're knocked on the ground, and Anna tries to shoot at it. She's like, "You good?" Blah blah blah, and then it takes off. So I'll stop there. Right when it starts to take off, and right before the chase starts, where are you guys at?
So, I like I said, I think there's some nice touches. There's the nice touch of being in D6. I liked the little bit of like before the bombs went off and stuff. This is it does not matter, but it's just a little thing to me where I look at that and I go, okay, but my guess, Artyom's probably it's probably been 30 years since the bombs went off, right? Like based on how old he was in that video.
The original nukes. Yeah.
Yeah, the original nukes, which I look and I go, it's not a lot of time for like mutant creatures. Not even the Dark Ones. I'm talking like the mutant creatures that are roaming the land.
Yeah.
Like it's not a lot of time for these things to all of a sudden just like there be mutants after some nukes went off, but whatever. Like that's just a weird me thing. So I again, like I look back, I didn't get the good ending, right? I got the canon ending for Metro the first game, so it is just weird to have that other ending as a possibility as we're gonna go straight into this. And I kind of did some research, and it seems like that's the way the books end, is the bombs go off. So they followed, even though they gave you an option for a second ending in the game stays true to the canon of the books, and which is why they did.
Which just seems even like a weirder inclusion then. But,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. So why even do it? So when the little baby gives you like a view like of what happened when the bombs went off, I thought that was also interesting. So like we see, I think 3 Dark Ones until the end of the first Metro game where you're actually running from a few, but like you see like 5, right, or 6, right? But in the flashback where we're bombing the nest, you got to see the extent of it, where all of a sudden these Dark Ones start like
it was a whole community,
turning it like there's like hundreds of them, right? Like tons of them. So I thought that was all good. I think the game looks fantastic. I actually decided to play on Steam Deck, even though last time I said I wasn't going to play on Steam Deck. They did a great job with just like redoing this game. It looks fantastic. The world's much more ambient. I was worried this game is going to be a little bit more scary, which I think we actually see some. No, it's to that part where we're walking with the sniper. Yeah, and you come in the sewer and there's just dead bodies. Bodies in the sewer, and they're much more graphic than the last time. And if you walk she goes to the right, but if you walk to the left to explore, you come up with 3 dead skeletons. And
yes.
It's like a husband holding a baby that's a dead skeleton. And so it was like, I don't know where this game's going to go. Now, my opinions might be a little different on the next section, which we'll talk about, but it's all very good. I'm enjoying all of it so far. What I was going to talk about with the pushing the boundaries, when we first walk up to the crater where things are still alive, I realized that there is no invisible wall. If you want to keep walking to the center where the nest is, you absolutely can. So I was like, interesting. I wonder if this will hurt me. So like I jumped down. It didn't hurt me. I was like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. So I just took off running because you have that sprint. And pretty quickly, the heat of the radiation just fries you and you die. Like, there's just like, you can try it if you want to, you're gonna die. It's like, okay,
and find out.
Yeah, that's what happened. But it was, let me do it, so it was fine. But did anybody get the achievement in the very beginning when you're in D6? You go to the armory and you start out with better guns right off the get back. They're like, hey, pick these.
Pick out.
Did anybody get an achievement for the 3 guns they picked?
Yep.
Yep.
You pick all 3 different different guns.
Yeah, I just wondered. Yeah, so you got like one of the pistols and one of the snipers.
It's called like veteran or something like that, and I was like, yeah, I know how to play video games, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me a little distance, give me a quick fire, and I think I did the shotgun was the other one, the close range.
I think it's like equipped with 3 different types of ammo. Like each weapon has a different type of ammo in your inventory.
Yeah. I didn't even care about the other 2. The first gun I got was not the revolving shotgun, but the other, like the close range, like range shotgun. I was like, "You're gonna be my best friend. We're gonna have a lot of fun this game." So
did you guys? I should have asked this in the beginning. What are you guys playing on difficulty wise?
Same.
Survivor normal. Yeah.
Survivor normal, same thing.
You did Survivor normal this one. I know. Oh, I thought you played on story mode last time, Alex. So I didn't know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sorry, but it's not called story. I think it's called Survivor, right? Because there's Survivor and Ranger.
But then after that, there's normal, or there's the story. Like there's the one above it. There's like story. Like you don't have any. There's like no. It doesn't play like a survival horror game. It plays like an FPS shooter. It's like
yes.
Arcade mode. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that's Survivor normal, whichever that one is, and then there's
Survivor get a little bit of like you still have to do.
There's no
filters.
easy option. Normal is your easy option, is what I found.
I was
looking for an easy option, and they're like, yeah, you get to play on normal, and then the others are like, every fight counts. You have to be more tactical. Then after that, it's like, this is really gonna push it how tactical we are, and there's 0 ammo. And then the one after that is like, haha, good luck, right? Like it's what those were.
There's one that's like plays like an arcade shooter, and there's one that's like plays like a survival horror game.
Yeah, no, I did the shooter. The people that are experienced with like FPSs. I did not do the survival horror.
Yeah, I did the next step down to where it was like it's still a little bit like it's. I didn't want to do super duper easy, but I went down like, hey, I can change it in the middle of the game if I need to.
You can, yeah.
Too scary for me to do resource management on bullets. Not happening. Give me all the bullets I need.
Okay, so you're playing on that, and then Preston and I are playing on the same one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so Preston, where were you at with?
Good. I mean, it starts off again. Very surprised that Artyom was there, and very happy to see Khan as well. Cue the Khan sound effects. We can use that again now. But yeah, it was nice to see that, and then it's kind of disappointed because of the fact that they didn't do. They kind of talked down to Khan. I'm like, Khan is kind of like the. There you go. He was like the spiritual like guide that you had like the entire first game. So now it's like no crazy religious guy, get out of here. What are you even doing in here? Like you're not part of this military.
Well, I think they think he's siding with the enemy, right? Like
he doesn't want to. Well, he also and on him, good on him for this, but he's not the biggest fan of genocide. So he doesn't want you killing every single possible scrap of these people, which obviously everyone else is like, well, they kind of invade our minds and could be possibly why all this mutant stuff is happening. So he's like, they just want it to be done so they can go back to their normal lives of being shitty humans and bombing up themselves. So
wait, so are we pro forced mind invasion? You're anti-genocide, but pro forced mind invasion.
Maybe it's the only way they talk.
And murder. Okay, I'm just trying to align where we stand.
Preston is just saying that everybody in this world should get that nice coexist bumper sticker and just just chill.
It's on the side of my assault shotgun I have.
I didn't say this a second ago, but to Preston's point, when you meet Khan, how he's been kind of exiled. Like when it comes to Artyom is also not like this god among men who destroyed the.
But he did. But he did get promoted right to Ranger. He got promoted immediately to Ranger.
You did, but you're only a ranger. Like you're still going out on missions. You still fall within the command, right? Like you're not a general or anything. You're just like boop, ranger.
They even make a comment. There's somebody who walks by and they're like,
I was in the field for 2 years and they just gave him a spot.
There's like, not everybody can just do some life-saving mission to get a ranger thing. It was like, all right, bro, don't be mad because you weren't good enough. That's not me.
Sucks to suck, buddy.
Get good. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good opener. I don't know how far you wanted to get into like that one section with like kid thing. But yeah, it's. I'm
gonna keep going. Yeah, I was just saying we stopped right before the chase starts. That's where.
Right before the chase. Okay, so no, we're good. It's nice. Nothing really else to say outside that. It looks good. Looks great. Curious to see where it goes.
Plays better.
Plays up?
Yes,
the
it does.
gunning.
Yeah.
The gunning plays.
So
much
that's
better.
that's actually what I was gonna say, and this will come up later.
Always
But
improvement.
man, the game really lets you know how good it could get for you when you are able to pick all of the ranger and just like go right from the get go with everything super powered. Because there's a part where a bunch of the mutants are running at you and you start smoking them, and I was like, dude, this game is gonna be cake. And then obviously when something happens further, you're like,
literally 30 seconds later.
Yeah, right now I'm back in the fucking shit. But yeah, so it was nice to feel super powered right there in the beginning before you get your Metroid depower happening. But yeah, so the chase starts. So you're chasing after Little Dark One, and it's basically just running and trying to get out of there. And the entire time, Anna is just fucking taking pot shots at this thing left
missing.
and right.
So she's not a great sniper. Just FYI.
She's missing, but she's getting
a
close.
little child, you know. He's running. He's getting a little
She's
bobbing
getting
weaving.
close, and she's also talking shit to you the entire time, being like, "Hey, bro, hurry up! Like, get this thing out in the open. Are you fucking with me? Like, stop! You know." And I don't know about you guys. I did not shoot at this thing at all because obviously I have the knowledge that these things are good because of the last game. So it's like I'm not.
So I was gonna ask, because when you catch it, you have an option. You can 100% shoot it. I did not. I walked up to it and then I went to a cutscene where I touch it, but I did not shoot it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm not sure. I don't think that I touched it.
In the cutscene, you do.
Yeah, the cutscene.
Oh, in the
stops you,
cutscene you do. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. But before that, it stops for a second. You could have shot it if you wanted.
I
don't know
think
what
so.
would
I
happen.
don't know. I didn't look it up.
Well, you can shoot at it during that because it's like coming down from like those spots in the high top.
Yeah.
So like you can shoot at it when it comes down there because you're still holding out your gun and doing that thing. So I think
did.
I accidentally let a round go, but it wasn't like at him. It was just kind of off to the side or whatever. I think I was trying to get the flashlight or something out. I can't remember what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't hit the little guy.
Yeah. So I didn't shoot it, but so so you immediately, your mind starts going and you get knocked out. And when you come to, little guy's in the cage, Anna's gone, we don't know, and who's there to greet you but the fucking Nazis. And so right there the game is letting you know, like, hey, here's gonna be the villains. Here's the villains. Like, it's an easy villain, Nazis, right?
Yes.
So
that's when I wasn't as scared of the scary stuff because it's like, okay, well, there's scary stuff, but now I just get to murder Nazis, and that I can do all day. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, super easy, right? So, but
in a video game, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so you wake up and you're in a camp with two communist dudes, two of the Red Soldiers, and the Nazis are getting ready to smoke all of you. Basically, they do one dude. They waste no time, by the way, really showing you like how Nazi these Nazis are, where they're measuring skull like stuff to be like, are you a mutant? Yes or no. And they're like, oh yeah, this dude's 2 millimeters off, and the guy's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, bam, just domes him, moves on. And he's like, take him to the fucking garbage chute, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, okay. So then they go to the one Red Soldier and they start interrogating him or whatever, and he's like, fucking suck my dick, you Nazi pieces of shit. And they're like, all right, bang. And so they go to the second guy, and he's like, no, I'll talk. Just like, can you take me away from the other prisoners that you have so that I can, I don't want to get,
I thought this was well done.
I don't want to be a rat, right? And they're like, yeah, all right, go ahead and take him. So he goes to turn around and get the door, and then he's like, fucking get the guy, and like jumps at you. And so then he starts choking this dude out. Fight ensues. You guys shoot. It does the thing, or it does the slow mo. Like, I love the slow mo in this game cracks me up because it's still that old like 2000s kind of thing where it's like, does like the sound effect when it does it, right? And so, but that happens. And the guy is like, I'm blanking on his name. I don't remember the name he gives you, but he's like, yo, you and me, like, you're a ranger, I'm a communist. I know we're not typically, allies, or he's like, but we're not enemies either, right? So that's a plus. So let's work together and get the fuck out of here. And you're like, yep, right on, cool, let's do it. So you start making your way through the prison, essentially, to to get out, and I'm gonna kind of go because it basically is a tutorial, right? The game is introducing you to the new stealth mechanics, which I did think was fun. So they add a little thing to show you like, hey man, when this blue light's like going, like it one, I will say they did a lot better about the tutorial this time around, where they would make you press the button to do the thing, and as opposed to just like letting you figure it out. And so I was like, all right, you can tell that some accessibility stuff was like, you have to do this. You can't just not fucking do this. So they get all that stuff going, but you get through the tutorial, you're going through the prison, you're killing these guards, and once you get to the top, the guy's like, yo, like right now the Führer is giving a speech, and so he's like, we have a chance to fucking slip out while we have to hurry up and get out before this speech is done, right? So you get to the top. First question I'm going to ask is, when you get to the top and you smoke the people that are in there, before you get to the speech, did you guys free the prisoners?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
did you guys get the trophy for the killing all the dudes without seeing you?
Yes.
No, which was some horseshit, and I'll tell you why, because I told Preston this too. I felt so good. Like, knife is a one throw kill still and everything. So I took out one guard in the guardhouse, and then there's 3 others. So one comes walking from the other way, and there's 3. So the one closest to me, I shot in the head. The guy beside him turns and looks, is like, what's going on? Pop, shot him in the head, took him out. The third guy turns around and stands up. He never drew his gun, he never aimed at me, but he stands up and immediately got headshot, which I told Preston, like, I felt like an action movie, because it's like pop, 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 like, so perfectly done. But even it started to do a light animation where you were supposed to be seen, even though he didn't actually see me. I got the dialogue from the guy beside me, like, well, I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. And I'm just like,
no,
like, come on, like, nobody knew where I was, nobody saw me, but whatever.
Yeah. So, but you can free all the prisoners there. So you do that, and you get a nice little karma point for it, obviously, for freeing all of the people. Mm-hmm. And some of those people were fucked up. Like, their legs were all fucked up and smashed and all this. And, like, you could tell there was a couple times where you're like, look, and one of the guys was like, don't even worry about me. Like, I'm not leaving here. Like, there's nothing I can fucking do. Which I thought was a nice touch as far as the building up the ambience of the whole thing. So now we're coming up to, so far, my favorite scene I thought was so well done is, so you're walking up on the speech.
I was going to say the same thing. That was perfectly executed.
Dude, it was so way more cinematic than anything that had happened in the first game, right? So I'm like, okay, you guys got a budget. Like, we're doing something here, right? So they
felt great.
So there's a crowd of people, and they're all doing the fucking, the Nazi stuff, and he's like, the guy's just yelling and being like, we'll fucking kill all these goddamn mutants, and we're gonna go to D6 and kill those fucking rangers, and, doing the whole thing, and everyone's like, yay! And as you're going through, you're trying to, like, sort of sneak your way through, and then one guy runs out in the middle of the speech and is like, yo, some prisoners escaped. And he's like, so then the Führer turns around and is like, what the fuck are you doing here then? Go kill him. And so the guy turns back, your buddy turns back to you and is like, well, all right, this is how we're doing it now. And fucking puts a pistol up in the air, shoots it twice, and everyone fucking scatters. And he's like, run! So you're running through, and you're doing all this stuff, and it's this, there's the slow-mo parts, and you're running, and you're getting away, and people are shooting. He's like doing the same thing they did some in the first game, where, like, when you start sprinting, they're like, left! And then you just, like, immediately turn to the left, right, and do your thing. So then you get to the escape car, essentially. Mm-hmm. You start to drive off, and then I'll stop there until we get to the end, which is pretty close after that. But so how are you guys? Where are you guys at after that part?
It's pretty good. So I think, especially with this section right here, I feel like this opening of the game, which is what I feel like we played the first hour, is a greatest hits of, like, what was the cool parts of the first game. You're fully armored up in the first one. You're going through there, killing those monsters. You're going into some of the weird, more odd flashbacks. You're also getting that incredible, like, cinematic portions of it, to where, like, the last time in the first game it was you're captured, but the Russian Navy SEALs come in, fucking help you out. This one, it's like it's you and the other prisoner getting out, but they do the slow mo. They got, like you said, like I wanted to mention, the cinematics, or the camera angles they're putting in this, like the cinematic aesthetic they're putting on some of these portions of this game are very well done. Like the camera angle that they had, I can't remember what it was, but like you had like an over the shoulder of like one guy as you're watching something else happen. And it's like, this is done very well. And going through the whole prison was very nice. The stealth, I hate stealth in video games. This didn't upset me at all. Like I felt good about it. They gave you we're playing on normal. We're not playing on like survivor mode or ranger mode. We are playing survivor, not ranger mode. So to where like I don't feel like I have not enough of those throwing knives. I have plenty of those throwing knives. I can pick them back up after I hit them. And then like you said, the Fuhrer and that whole end part where you're running away and that whole cinematic part of that, like that was another part that I really liked in the first game. So to me, this is like hey, here's the cool parts that happened in the first game, and then we're kind of give you that, and then who knows what's going to happen in the rest of this game if they're going to put all the stunts out here.
Yeah,
But I liked it. The cinematics in there, like the way this game moves is very cinematic, not just like the cutscenes they give you.
Yeah.
I had to look. I did get an achievement called Clean Escape, which was escape the chasing Nazis on the Reich level without being caught once.
Right.
But I don't think that's the same achievement as the one.
No, that's a separate thing.
Yeah, which is so dumb. Because I did that. Yeah, I agree. Like before we even got into it, I almost said I loved that cinematic. This game looks amazing. The drab like tunnel with the bright red, like, and you look and you go, well, Nazi's gonna Nazi, I guess.
Yeah.
And everything else like still the same. It looks so good, and the one thing this game does well, even the last one, is make every world feel lived in with like the banter and like walking through this and feeling the banter and seeing people like get pushed out of the way and moving was super well done. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh, it was great. I was like, damn, this is okay. Like you guys, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, we just hurried up and made a sequel. It's like, oh, no, you took the lessons. Like you got like some stuff learned, and it's clearly it's going.
It felt good. So like you get the silenced pistol in that stealthy section.
Yeah.
In the next section coming up, and like it felt good. I was headshotting everyone, right? Like from distance and whatever, and just like, okay, I'm gonna do. I think one person came out from the side and he saw me and like started to fire, and I just ducked behind cover, and as soon as he went to fire again, I was like, pop, done. Like, see ya.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and I know we keep, but I don't want to. I can't overstate. Like, there was a feeling when you're watching him sort of like push through the crowd and sort of like turn his side and like sort of like snake his way through people and stuff. It immediately sets a tone, right? But then also sets the bar above the first game, in my opinion, which is what a sequel should do, right? Like you should feel like a good step up from whatever was there before, right? So it was great. So you get to that and you escape, right? Like you get on the car, you escape, and you end up having like a crash, and you do a little tumble and blah blah blah. He's like, all right, man, let's keep moving, and you make your way over to like a little pipe, which never ends well in these games, with a guy going, all right, I'll go through first and scout it out, and it's like, well, that's not gonna
go for it, buddy.
Yeah, this isn't gonna go the way we want it to go, but let's try it. So he goes through the pipe and he immediately gets caught by a bunch of Nazis, and you hear him get he gets like sucker punched clearly, and he's like, let's see if there's any more with him. And so the gates start to open up, and so you immediately are in panic mode, right? Because you're like, oh shit, like I gotta hide. So you hide, and this is where I think the stealth really comes, because now you're by yourself, right? So you have a whole fucking little outpost of Nazis that are hiding. So you make your way through this stealth section. I tried a few times to do the non-lethal, like I'm gonna knock everybody out and do this thing. I probably tried it, I'll give it like a gentleman's like 8 or 9 times, and every single time I ended up getting fucking peeped by somebody, and I was like, fuck this, and so I just smoked everybody, and I was like,
I tried it once, and then after that went, these are all Nazis, I don't care.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, is I'm like, I really, by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I honestly don't give a shit, because like, you guys suck anyway. And so like, it's not like I don't need to knock you out. And so I literally just went in there and was just like, boom, 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 fuck everybody. And then you open the door and there's a dude who's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and puts his hands up. And so then I did knock him. I just punched him because I was like, I'm positive that if I execute
Which
him,
guy was this?
right when after you
last
get to
one, I
that self
think,
section, you open the door to leave to move on.
Laying in bed or
and
something?
He's like laying in bed, right? So you walk in with the gun drawn, and he's like, "Yo!" Like throws his book down and is like, "Hey,
Yeah, he got smoked.
yeah."
I smoked him.
So that was the thing is I was
treating
like,
him.
So can I say can I say this?
hold on, because all I was thinking was so I knew I was like, that's going to be a bad karma point for sure. That's going to be a bad karma point.
I looked it up and I didn't care. Like after I did
Yeah.
it, I looked up. It is a bad karma point. Well, it's not. There's multiple people that tie to that one. I think there's 4 different options. And I know 2 of them I've smoked already, and I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I'll knock this dude out
care.
because like I know it's a surrendering person. But everybody else, I was like, see ya, I'm done. And so, but yeah, so they do. You get through that section, and as you escape from there, funny enough, that is where that mission ends up ending, and then the facility where we said we were going to stop. The title card pops in, and so that's when I texted these guys and was like, "Hey guys, it's gonna be a lot shorter than you thought, so don't stress out about it too much." But yeah, so that's where we end. So basically RTM ends with a little monologue of being like, "Look, I could probably escape on my own from here, but that I would not have survived if not for that guy. So the very least, I gotta try to save him. Like being stuck and experimented on by Nazis is not a fate that anybody should have to deal with, right? And so that's where we're leaving. So all in all, the first play session, you guys can be quick, but because I know we basically just talked about the whole thing already. But are we excited? How are we feeling?
Yeah, no, it's good. It feels good. I have just as much excitement as I had while playing the last game, which is I'm interested. I'm having fun kind of filling out this world. I know a little bit more about it now, so I'm already kind of into it. So it's good. I'm curious to see what they do to kind of up their ante as they go through the game, because this is just the first hour of like an 10 hour game.
10-hour game. Yep.
10 hour game. Yeah. So I'm curious to see where this one goes, and to get my Russian Rose back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. The last game I thought was pretty good. I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm waiting for the horror shoe to drop.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
It gave it. So I started playing this at night, and it gave it to you right at the beginning, because like you're in that subway tunnel like before you pass out, and you get those guys come in like the dark ones, and you're like, oh shit, this is getting scary. I'm like, I just started playing this game. Like it's dark time. Like I might push this off till Tuesday. And then the more I'm playing, I'm like, okay, like I told Alex, I'm like, it's all Nazis now. Like, okay, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're going.
I can handle the Nazis. That's no problem. The only other thing I noticed about this game, unlike the last one, which I think is fine, is that in the last one there's a big set piece of the tower with everything going around, and then it resets, and you're like, how did we get here? There was none of that, so it'll be fun to see where the story goes, because we don't know what we're gonna end with like we did the last time.
Yeah,
right? We knew what we were working to. This is completely blind. So right now it's really good. I enjoyed the hour that I played.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm excited to see where it goes. I have heard, the only thing that I've ever heard over the years is that it moves, the games move away, and this always happens in survival horror. The games move away from survival horror, and they move more towards, and they lean more towards action, right? It happens with Resident Evil, it happened with Dead Space, it happens with all those other things. So, I'm expecting there to be like some weird stuff and some psychological stuff, and then I'm assuming with Exodus it's just going to be,
run and gun,
Call of Duty, but we'll see. Who knows? But so far, I really like it. And Alex, you nailed it when you were talking about it earlier. It's the world building, the way that they handle the environmental storytelling of this game so far, and the series, I should say, is just slam dunk. They crush it. Like you just feel it while you're playing the game.
And it all makes sense so far.
Yeah.
Like, people would have retreated to the subways. That totally makes sense. People probably would have broken up in their own little things. That makes sense. There was a comment, too, which I really appreciated. So, like, you're fighting the Nazis, and RTM's like, I need to get Pavel, and we need to make it to the closest neutral base, and then to Polis, right? And it's like, just even those little details in world building are very good.
So, this time, we're going to up the number of missions. So this time we are going to stop at the mission called Sundown. So as soon as you see the mission called Sundown, you can stop. So that is, we will be playing through that little nice chunk of the game. We will stop at Sundown.
Do we know if it's actually called Sundown this time? Or you have to?
I don't. But I will. More than likely, I'll end up playing this before you guys, and so I will let you know 100%. But
that's gonna put us like halfway through the game.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see. I don't know. It depends on how because some of these are shorter chunks, some of these are longer chunks. So I'm just we're tossing out numbers here. We'll see. But right now, that's where we're gonna stop. So even if this ends up being a bigger one, it'll be all right. We'll get through the game one way or the other. So. But yeah, we're going to stop at the mission called Sundown.
All right. Well, that works out. The shorter episode worked out, or the shorter playtime worked out with our very long week. Yes. So we can still keep this a gentleman's 2:15. So thank you all for joining us. One thing I will say is if you're watching this, you get to see this really dope Comic HQ hoodie that I'm wearing. They, I believe, are good friends. Jake, co-host of Two Worlds Pod. This is his comic shop. I think this stuff's still for sale by going to their Instagram.
They're on Instagram, Comic HQ STL. They have a little link tree link in their bio. Click on that, and that'll take you to it. They are still doing the merch.
Yeah, so feel free to check it out. It's a very nice.
That's where I get my comics from. I don't even live in St. Louis.
This is the perfect time of year. In the fall, hoodie season. I thrive in hoodie season. I sweat too much for the summer.
I'm getting one.
This is me. So thank you for joining us on another episode. We're excited to bring you part 2 of our gaming book club for Metro Last Light next week. And with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Hit it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.